and I'm your Dungeon Master for Avress the Shattered World, here on the Tumble Tinkered Discord server and YouTube channel. As always, looking for games, come see us. We'll make some up, make some games for you, get you some players and DMs and all that kinds of stuff. So hopefully you guys can all join us at some point. And if not, enjoy today's episode here as we are finally reaching a destination, specifically known as a location known as the Dreadmire. Now, the group, having left the tomb of Ambrose Cole, where Eldon picked up a rather impressive amount of notes regarding rune smithing and rune crafting from the individual known as the Runesmith King.
We're gonna be so rich.
You traveling south along the mountains of Coppervale. Switch over to the map so you can kind of see our little Indiana Jones style dotted line. So effectively moving from the tomb way up here, the traveling along the mountains about halfway to their destination where they are currently right here. The ship ran into some problems there. Accumulator sort of cracked and shorted out, and the ship had to put down. They managed to limp their way to a settlement known as Gem Hollow, of which Eldon is very, very familiar, having grown up there and been banished from there.
I hated the ship. I so hated the ship.
Yes, so Eldon stay with his notes on the ship, away from everything else there. Lucas and Amethyst went down into the town itself there to actually look for a replacement gem for the accumulator, while Sora and Grimbar decided to do a little improvised mining in the hillsides nearby where the ship was parked. While not managed to find any high enough quality gems, they did find some chunks of ore and some more promising things that could be used at some point. But Amethyst and Lucas were successful in gaining access to a large enough garnet style garnet gemstone that could be crafted into an accumulator. Bringing that back, Eldon and Audrey were able to kind of get that in place. And get charged up there. So with only about a day's delay, they were able to then get back in the air. A couple of days later, as traveling along the mountains on the western side of Coppervale there, they encountered another airship, specifically a ship from Coppervale itself. A patrol ship or patrol merchant ship there of an odd design. They, as they were sort of speaking with the emissary from the ship there who had teleported onto Serenity, a group of a flock or a whatever they're called, a large group of manticores launched themselves into the air from the ground below and attacked both ships forming around. Group managed to dispatch the manticores, including an alpha, rather large, impressive beast. And the once things were prepared enough to move on again, they were able to continue their travels south. And that's where we're picking up here. As the group is nearing the southern border of Coppervale. Within a day or so, they're going to actually reach that, kind of flying over where the capital city of Dumati is, where Grimbar has spent some time, along with Eldon a little bit of time there. But that's where we're picking up today.
Outside of there.
Yep. So the Captain Sterosh is essentially asking what do you want to give it to skirt over the airspace there, or do you want to just fly over? What is the intent you would like to follow there? You do know that based on Hogarth and
lots of bottomless ale there.
According to Hogarth and Bert, you do know that you should be able to still reach your destination about 4 days early from what you're based on the timing that things are intended to. as you are trying to get all the way down to here on your map.
See, if we were on time, I would say it should be like a covert operation, but there's no point being covert and sneaking in if we're then just going to be walking around town for 4 days or whatever.
What's covert? I mean, we're not doing anything. We don't need to be covert. So let's not.
We kind of do.
Why?
Because we're here to pick up Sora's mum.
Not around.
No, you're not.
I thought we were.
No. We're there to pick up something from my mom.
Right.
We're just there to see her. She's not coming back with us.
Right.
Okay.
But it's going to be. I'm assuming it's going to be sensitive.
Something secretive.
Yeah. So I worry about coming early because of that. But if you want to hang out with your mum for 4 days, then, you know.
Well, it would be really, I mean, if you had a way to communicate with her in some way to find out, I mean, that would be really helpful.
What, like the sending stone that she has?
Yeah, that thing.
Would be useful.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
I don't know what you're talking about. I
Yeah,
don't know what you're talking about.
Maybe
I
if
mean,
you talk to your
you're
mum
only-
and say,
Yeah, you're less than a week from getting there. You think you might want to, check in with her and see. Actually, about a week.
yeah,
Okay.
should we come in quietly? Should we just come in with trumpets blaring? Should we, has she got a way for us to sneak in or what? Just
I don't
ask her.
know that, we should come in trumpets blazing to begin with, but, sure, I can do that. Get on a message and sending stone. So we're, what, a week early?
About 4 days early. Yeah. It is now the 14th of Sunswell, and you were supposed to get there about the 28th. It'll take about a week to get there. Actually, sorry, about the 25th of Sunswell. It's expected to be there. You'll get there about the 21st. So yeah.
I nominate landing in Coppervale and getting drunk and eating lots and lots of dwarven food and ale. Anybody got a second?
The food? Yes. The ale? No? Okay.
The ale, no. Food, yes. Copperville is a general graphical thing I should not actually participate in.
So, I'm wondering, this is just me wondering here. Hey, Mom. We're going to apparently be in the Dreadmire 4 days early. Do you have any plans? Should we be quiet? Should we be sneaking around? Is there some place we should stay and wait for you? End of message.
Sora, it's good to hear from you. Getting here a few days early is fine. We should have everything arranged for you to pick up the package, and just coming into the village. You'll see the village when you arrive in the area. I know Strelv sent you the coordinates. Sorry, Striga.
Strega. Sure did. Sure did.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Strega sent me the coordinates. We're supposed to go there. She said we'll be fine meeting there. She just said the package.
Mm-hmm. Because she needs to be careful who's listening to her.
Okay, so we have some time, and there's a small village apparently that I will see or won't see. I wonder if she knows I'm coming in on a ship. We didn't exactly tell her that.
She
Strega did.
at some point, yes, she would have been informed that you're coming out because they're gonna watch. Yeah.
Because that's why you got the job. You
Well,
got a ship.
Right, but
Yeah.
I don't know if Mom was told that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I was worried
there's
about.
yeah. Australia would have let you know that she's expecting you to be arriving on an airship. So
Cool.
yeah, travel traveling there via ground would be very difficult. As Lucas knows very well, the route from Port Oris over to the mountains um, is a bit difficult, although a little less so now that it's not winter anymore. But
Yeah, you don't want to travel over the mountain.
No, the
not by
winds
foot,
get me or something.
not on foot.
Okay. So what do we want to do? We got all this time now.
I don't know what's there. I don't know what to expect when we get there. I'm just going to play it by ear.
That's why they call it adventuring.
But if you've given the coordinates to the crew, then obviously we can get there and
Yeah,
worry about what we're doing when we get there.
they knew the route. Effectively, the only thing Hogarth and Ao would need to know is whether you want to travel directly over the lake, around the left side or the right side of the lake. Essentially, you want to make a straight line there across it, or what's your preference?
I don't think we
Do we
should
know
go
what-
over the lake. I think we should go around the lake, by the lake.
Do you know what's in the lake?
No, and I don't want to find out.
Okay. Yes, very good, Rob. He said water.
Probably fish, maybe other things as well.
Water. I love it. Such a great response. Yeah, not stuff that I want to find out, to be honest.
All right. Well, effectively, you have about two, almost three, about 2 more days of the border, essentially, and then from there about 5 days over to here. So you can obviously, as you're moving over here, after about a day or so after your encounter with the ship and the Manticores, you will start seeing evidence of a surface city of sorts. Um, you probably haven't seen this from the air very much there, but you start recognizing some of the outer buildings and some of the settlements and everything else that are on the surface near Damati there. Effectively, from the plains on the east side there, where the river kind of comes in, there's a whole river sort of like port area where goods are brought in from all the rivers across the area, where there's a dock and shipping area there. There is this massive amount of warehouses and storage and crafters and everything else that are on the surface. And then what you can see even from the air, you'll absolutely be able to see massive stone-worked statues of dwarves in armor, dwarves in with various weapons, dwarves are obviously that are craftsmen, literally carved into the mountainsides. And there's a massive, probably judging from the height of things where you are, probably almost 50 feet high, a large gate, opening that's carved into the mountainside. And just
dwarven workmanship, that is. Aye.
Yeah, from what you guys know, the two of you are from here, you know that this city is ancient. This city, thousands of years old. Now the surface, not so much. So the surface that's been built in probably the last 900 years or so. It's been built up around there, but literally that whole space there is new. The statues predate the surface cities, surface dwellings and such. They've always been there as far as anyone's aware. Anyone living, at least. So effectively, you will see other airships docked in various places there. They mostly dock at essentially land on the ground in kind of large holding areas where they can land, kind of a little almost like a dry dock kind of thing. They're set up there. You'll see probably dozens of airships of different sizes and designs scattered throughout where the warehouses and everything else are. As you kind of flying up there, looking down, you'll see lots of people moving around, lots of activity down there on the surface, and based on your encounter with the trade ship that you had, it seemed word must have been sent ahead. None of them are flying up to mess with you or check in on you. You're basically being given essentially
Y'all are welcome.
being
Y'all are welcome.
being
That is
allowed
for
to.
my heroic activity of saving everybody.
So yeah,
Eldon will eventually, as we are approaching, come out of the workshop, and I look miserable. Like, just straight. Like, haven't slept in days, haven't showered in days, probably haven't eaten much.
the only reason you have at all is because Audrey and whoever else basically been making you do it.
Right,
So
yeah. It's,
like you will get cleaned up, you will get some sleep, taking things away from you, and like, nope, you can't have that. Go to sleep.
Hey, Captain, can we
Yeah.
throw the trash off? It's starting to stink. Throw it over there, boy.
Well, not only that, but like at some point you were asleep because I woke you up to help us dig.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's like, the whole thing, we get like an hour or two of sleep. I couldn't stay asleep. Yes. Okay. So important things I have found out. Ooh, we are going to be so powerful by the end of this little adventure. And I am going to be crafting some things in the next couple of weeks. I will be talking to each of you. I do need measurements from everyone. Yes.
Shh. It's a secret. Only the women like to know.
He already has one.
You will know. So I actually need to. Eldon and Sora, have you discussed anything of the plans there that you sort of let me know about?
Yes.
Okay, so a little bit of that's happening
Yes.
on the trip there. Okay,
Yep. Yeah. That conversation would have happened.
sure.
Um, and we're in the process of that.
One issue you run into is the fact that you really can't practice at least one of the main things there while on the ship. Not a good idea. You can probably figure out what that would be. The yeah.
I don't know what that means.
But
What does that mean?
The thing that your new abilities would allow you to do. Bad idea on a ship.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope, definitely not. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So
No.
just
Fire.
that too. That too.
Yeah,
That too, but no.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That very much as well.
Yeah. So while I would say, while you're starting to get a bit of the a bit of the basics down, some of the concepts around it there, Sora, you're kind of not quite there yet. You need a little time on the ground to practice, essentially. So flying over Dumati, at least the surface of Dumati there, Grimbar, that the city goes deep, deep underground.
Hold on. Sorry about that.
Oh, yikes. Yep.
That's
Eldon,
actually Chihuahuas.
Yep. Eldon, you probably haven't been down deep into it. You would know.
I passed. Yeah, it was more
Yeah.
like a passing.
Yeah, you might have been brought into where the court is, and there is a massive. So inside the main gate there is a large, open, like carved out city within the mountain itself, and sort of pretty much in the grand entrance hall, there is sort of a meeting hall where any sort of like bureaucratic or court type functions would all kind of happen in that central area there, and then it just like is carved out like massive like districts and wards and else down into the mountain and down deep. You know that there are mines down below that never ever that people that live there probably never see the light of day. They live there their entire lives down like miles underground. So it stretches miles down into the mountains itself.
Very cool.
So, if you guys want to just continue on, or you guys can stop, it's the ship is intact. The ship is running well. There's no the captain says there's no need to stop unless there's something you want to get there or do there.
Um, Mr. Grimbar, would you like to stop and get a provision um, of your substances that you require, and I will stay on the ship.
Maybe not.
What,
Okay.
alcohol?
I mean, so question there with Graham was whether you
Sorry about
wanted to
that.
make a stop.
Did you-
back
did
up
you want-
just a wee bit. I had my daughter's here.
No worries.
Oh, yeah.
The question was, did you want to stop, or were you guys want to move along?
Did you want to get your meat and cheese?
Muted, Grimbar.
Can't hear you. They are.
He'll put in a he'll throw in a guilt trip and tell him, yeah, he wanted to stay there and visit his old friends and see his birthplace, but just for Sora, because she wants to get there to see her mom so much. I'll sacrifice good dwarven ale and food and throw it in for the team
Okay.
in there.
Can always stop by later on.
Mm.
And yeah, with that,
I turn around, I look at Elney and kind of wink and just kind of keep on going. Eldon, I look at Eldon and kind of wink and walk.
all right. So the ship will continue, kind of leaving the gate, the entrance to Damati, off in the distance there. As it continues, getting bigger, as you guys are. Come on, go. Well, come on, move for me, please. Go. As you crest over the mountains, and as you do, you will get your first look at the Dreadmire. And what you see before you is, as you crest over the mountains, there is just this massive, like, stretching out in the distance terrain. The forested hills, the mountains there, as you crest over them, you see this long sloping down into a very flat plain of marsh and a lake that stretches almost as far as you can see to the south. You see the very tip of it right here, as you kind of crest over the mountain and see down below there. In the distance, large mountains on the opposite side of this valley as well, almost like a bowl depression within this space here. You can see just it's green. Everything is green there, and there's different some different shades. You see of all different greenery. The side that you approach on there is a little more forested. There's a larger tree, but even beyond that, there are little scrubby trees and what looks to be like probably marshland, based on what you're seeing in terms of the way the water there. Obviously, the water kind of ebbs and flows in here with this on the end of this lake as you look out there. But one thing you will spot flying in the sky are some odd-looking creatures. Just a few kind of scattered here and there, but they're definitely large. Not sure exactly. It's hard to judge scale or anything else, but they just have sort of almost like sail-like wings. They're just sort of gliding on the air. Long, narrow heads flipped back over these just wings that don't really flap. They just glide on the air and just move around there. You don't see any limbs or anything else. They don't quite have the look of. They don't quite look like drakes, as far as you can tell. And as the ship sort of moves down, you start to see other creatures on the ground. Large quadrupedal creatures. Some huge, like towering over some of the trees that are down there. Long necks, these massive, like thick legs They're just sort of ponderously thudding along there, especially near as you start to kind of see the edge of the lake, and you realize the scale of these things must be huge because you can see them from quite a ways up. So your first impression of the Dreadmire there being these strange creatures that, at this point, I would say probably Lucas may have heard stories of these things. Amethyst, you probably as well. Your people do trade stories, and you're now sort of on the same side of the mountains of the area mountains that you're originally from. Both of you, actually, at this point. Yeah, but these things are basically known as dinosaurs. There's the flying ones. There's these massive ones that thud along the ground, varying sizes and kinds and shapes and everything else. So the captain sort of like the ship kind of comes down low there, giving a wide berth to the flying creatures that are there because they have no idea if they're going to be hostile or not. Judging by scale, figuring it out there, these things probably are good 10, 12 feet, 10, 12 foot wingspan. The heads being about 4 to 6 feet long, long, narrow, spots there. They tend to swoop down to the lakes, coming up with fish occasionally, or swooping down to the ground, grabbing things in their claws or their beaks, and swooping back up again there, varying size things. Your first sign of any settlements, especially near, kind of tucked into the trees, essentially, in this kind of ring along here, you'll see a lot of hut-like structures, very somewhat primitive looking, but also kind of they'll have some of them have palisade walls, but they're definitely. Yes, I know they aren't all dinosaurs, I know, but they are of a similar time period and similar style of creatures. Yes. So, but the structures you see there are elaborate. They're not primitive looking in terms of the way they're built. They kind of sprawling groups of huts. They're made from natural materials, obviously from trees and wood and whatever stone can be brought in there. A lot of, but they're tucked into the trees themselves. And what people you can see there all have a very reptilian look to them. By your first, and you've met all the group of you except for Grimbar.
Folk.
Yeah, you've met lizard folk. Yep. So Strega's bodyguard was a lizard folk there. It had that same look there, that broad-shouldered, alligator-like, thick hide there with the longer snouts there, wide teeth, and the long, thick tails hanging down there.
Strong but dumb.
I mean, they have basically cities, so they're they know what they're doing at least. At least the initial ones you see. You'll spot a few kind of mixed hunting parties and such moving along there. No, actually, the barbarian that you met, the druid was a furbolg.
Yeah, druid was furbolg. Yeah,
Yep.
Different kind of intelligence.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, they don't see a lot of evidence of technology, but the building materials are absolutely. The structures they built there are pretty elaborate, at least in this first section here. So, anything you'd like to do in your first foray into the Dreadmire?
Oof.
We're kind of stuck on a boat flying, so.
You can always land if you wish.
I will make a smart aleck comment, and I'll try to make it sound. I'll try not to make it sound so sarcastic, but I'm going to say we're not going to run them gem node thing, whatchamacallit, thingamajigs dry again and crash land, are we?
I mean,
That
to
wasn't on
my
purpose.
Audrey's defense, it was not actually something we could have foreseen. This is technology that can, in fact, fail, which is what happened. Hopefully not. No.
Yeah, and Ale kind of put up there that That I will own that. Getting into Silverleaf, I mean, I was pushing it a little bit too hard, um, and so maybe it was my fault that we
Well, I was
that put too
thinking
much
of
strain on
Silverleaf.
there.
I was thinking
That-
of Silverleaf, not the time we crash landed, because that was when it accidentally. But
yeah, that
I'm
that
thinking
was.
Silverleaf.
I think the improvements that were made there shouldn't be a problem anymore. So I just want to say, that's that first one was on me. Second one definitely not, but could be somewhat related.
No, the
I'll just,
second time you saved us, I'll give you quabs on that one. You did good on that one. You kept us from crashing.
no,
3 trips, 2 crashes. I'm just my odds. They're not real good.
we're fine. And Eldon, you and Audrey have been checking the things that are the accumulator is holding a charge very, very well. It's staying intact. And and yeah, things seem to be moving. Things seem to be doing just fine. You're not seeing any issues at all with the circuitry, the equipment, anything else like that. And at this point, Ale has not had to do any sort of like crazy maneuvering or anything else like that. They did get a good um, picked up a good amount of speed based on how they were doing things. But for the most part now, ship is running smoothly. No real issues. There's a little bit of turbulence kind of coming down into the valley toward the valley floor there, just because cross winds and everything else as the winds kind of whip around in this big bowl essentially. But nothing that isn't counteracted very skillfully. So we kind of see, yeah. Lucas, go ahead.
Maybe we could fly a little lower so we get a better look at these dinosaurs, because obviously I've only heard stories.
Yeah. So effectively, you kind of follow this little kind of river along here, down in the forested areas. You see a few. You'll see a few that are sort of almost bipedal. They have larger hind legs and smaller front legs there that are eating from the trees. Kind of weird kind of broad mouths there and kind of swept back heads and weird little crests. You'll see some like squat quadrupedal ones moving along there. And then, yeah, eventually you'll start seeing kind of definitely some more predatory types, raptor type things, and even some mostly like small raptor type creatures running on the ground there that are sort of moving in like almost like packs, like wolf packs in a way, kind of checking out there. Yeah, quite a variety. You've seen a pretty wide variety. Some of them with like kind of the bony plates there. You see, kind of the ones like basically triceratops style there with a big old horned ridge in the horns. See Diplodocus there, they're eating from the trees. And then yeah, definitely as you get down toward the lake area there, you'll see the massive, essentially brachiosaur style dinosaurs with the huge long necks and everything else. And yeah, flying over the top there, definitely the occasional pterodactyls kind of swooping down there and moving around the area as well.
Nice.
You don't see any evidence that they're being, as you kind of give the settlement itself a little bit of a wide berth, at least unless you say otherwise. You don't see any evidence that they're being used in any way, like beasts of burden or that. The things are just kind of kept outside the settlements, and the large walls. And which you realize the walls are probably a good 20 to 30 feet high around the main settlement that you see. The trees that are being used there, very strong, like looking walls that all around this main settlement. And as you kind of pass there, Captain asks, "So, what is the plan then? Are we going to go around the left side or the right side? I want to go over the lake, really, but
Let's go to the right.
okay. Means we will have to cross. We will have to cross the lake at some point because it is over here. We're going to go to. So,
Oh,
Let's go to the left.
yeah. Yes, I vote left and not crossing that lake.
Yeah.
No telling actually what is in the lake.
Okay.
Is there any difference between going the Dracul side and the other side?
You'll notice that obviously that the lake is a little bit closer to the mountains over here. On the left side there, going around the left side of the lake there. There's a lot more space and more trees on the right side there. But yeah, so it's much more like just swampy, marshy looking land over this side, where there's more trees and forested areas on the right side. So kind of, at least as far as you can tell. Eyes and ears will actually tell you that the mountains themselves, Drakalsi, look fairly clear. There's no sign of airships or anything else on the mountains that you can scanning on this side over there. Fairly certain that it's yeah.
That's probably hundreds of miles, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, but you can scan for any sort of shifting or movement. I can. Yes, I think that there's a number of. I can see things quite a ways off.
Okay.
Uh,
But you couldn't see those okay.
the manticores?
Manticores coming.
I saw them and gave you all the warning that when they launched themselves from their caves. Yes.
That's why
Yeah,
we
he
didn't
wa-
have the sneak attack.
Yeah, he was the first one to call it out, saying, "Hey, something's coming from the ground," because they launched themselves out of the cave at the down
I'm not
at the
taking.
valley
I'm not
floor.
taking cover from in a cave as an excuse. You should have saw him ahead of time. Fire the rat.
He let us
Yep.
know before my dagger did.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
It did, yeah,
Wow,
exactly.
Grimbar.
So essentially, Amethyst, to kind of retcon that a little
I
bit there,
can't
basically,
lose. I can't lose an argument. I got to make some kind of excuse.
um, you would know that essentially, the dagger warning would have gone off as they got closer, but
Yeah,
effectively, yeah, it was a matter of
and
uh,
I'll make sure he knows I'm just messing with him. I don't
yeah.
want to.
He doesn't seem to take offense. He's like, I mean, one can only see so things that are apparent to be able to be seen. But yeah. So moving along, as you get close to the lake, the northern edge of the lake here did sort of like you can see kind of the evidence of sediment of varying colors, as you can kind of see in the picture here. Where the water is obviously sort of move like risen and fallen, leaving behind sediment and sort of kind of erosion along the sides over here. One thing you'll also spot is various what look to be ponds or lots of like watery like areas dotted along the greenery or anything else, and some that are very very dark in color. Um, it's hard to
Is it
see
dark
from
green or
dark, more like dark black. Like like the areas there are very black.
bubbly
It,
black, like, as in.
I mean, it from high enough up there, it just looks to be patches of like kind of clearish bluish water, some greenish water, and some very black looking water. It could just be what's under the water essentially. Hard to say from the sky without going down closer to look. Um, um, yeah. Okay. So, right. So, yeah, moving along, kind of along the far edge of the lake here, sort of heading south. Um, Again, looking up at the mountains, Sora, you basically are looking on the far side here. Those are the mountains of Drakal. That is the place you definitely heard of, and where you know that generations ago your family came from. Um,
I've been there.
yes. Uh,
Not
and yeah,
eager to go back.
yep. Grim, you probably haven't been on this side of the mountains really, based on your travels and where you spent time then. Then I could come back to our place over here. You were mostly on the water side of things. Didn't spend a whole lot of time on the the inland side of the mountains there. You were mostly on the edge, out on this side over here. In
Yeah, I
fact,
ought to traveled. I ought to traveled up this way.
mhm.
Most likely.
Or from right here, which this is the Silverport actually right over here. This is actually still part of Coppervale on this side of the mountains up here. So you would have come down from Silverport, probably somewhere along this region over here. This being Kuvriak, which is where the copper dragons live, and it's where the copper mines are. Zinkrel right here, where the brass dragons live. And so, not
That's where I was at. Was there, right?
yeah, pretty much. You
Yeah.
you were kind of in those in this sort of region up in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a little up here, or Aureus is the capital, was the largest of the cities there. Zinkrel, or sorry, this is Stanor down here where the bronze dragons are, which is sort of the largest like seafaring hub there. They send ships all along there, and then Agiris. Agiris is where the silver dragons live. It's the highest in elevation. It's also the most remote. You don't know much about the place there, other than it's very, very cold up, and it never really thaws out. The mountains up there are so high that they actually never really thaw out, which makes it perfect for silver dragon. Silver dragon kid. Sorry. So yeah, heading down along the side here. Within the next, over the course of the first like day of flying through here, again, you just see a lot of strange sounds of creatures that you've never heard. These strange trumpeting sounds, a lot of skittering, just a lot of chittering from things down on the surface there. Never really been in this kind of environment before, so you're definitely hearing some odd sounds. Yes, you see sounds, right?
LSD. I see music.
About by the next morning, you find yourself getting closer along here, and pretty much this river that comes out of Drakal, right about here, you're kind of passing over there. You'll see there's a fairly decent size, another settlement of some kind, kind of near the shoreline of the lake, and sort of along this river right here. It's not as elaborate as the one that was back in the tree line up here, that you first saw, but it is sort of that still sprawling, squat structures, of made from various trees and natural materials and everything else. Again, sort of this sprawling set of buildings, all along the river, all on the where the lake meets the river. And again, you'll take note that depending on how high you're flying, eyes will basically point out that the natives are very aware of our presence. They can, and you'll kind of see the fact that there are lots of scaly-looking like individuals looking up and pointing. Nothing hostile per se, but there's definitely a like people pointing up in your direction at least. You notice that the lizard folk in this area are very greenish skinned, greenish hides and such. You don't see evidence of. You see evidence of weapons. Obviously, but none of them fire arrows up at you or anything else. But they definitely have varying weapons on them: bows, axes, spears, that kind of thing like that. Nothing that indicates any sort of like guns or crossbows or anything more advanced along that type. But yeah, there are a number of like boats, fishing vessels that obviously docked along the lake side. That's what you see along there. course of your next day here, still uneventful. Nothing specifically any issues that you're seeing at all, other than more creatures. Uh, Eyes will point something out off the starboard side there in the lake. There's something kind of large out there. Um, as you look over the edge, there is definitely something the size, probably of those brachiosaur type things that are walking the large, like, thick there, but it's in the water, and you see this head poking up from the water of this long neck there, and kind of
Look, it's Nessie.
effectively, yeah, talking about the yeah um the swimming, yeah, obviously is swimming through the water, and you can kind of see one thing you can tell is that as you get sort of south here, the lake is obviously much deeper. The water is dark, and whereas it's sort of that yellowish, lightish blue along the on the shoreline, it quickly gets dark, like much deeper in a dark blue out toward the center. And you'll spot one of those swimming things, with a plesiosaur, essentially, and a couple more smaller ones, kind of in the area with it as well, literally swimming along out there in the water. Effectively, everyone, pretty much every time a new thing is called out, you definitely see like crew members all come up on board. They're kind of looking out there, watching things, checking things out there. It's about this time you'll see your first primary predator. Moving across the swamp areas over here is, a large upright, basically Tyrannosaurus Rex, just charging down, just charging into a pack of, obviously are herbivores, moving on there, and I think it moves quite fast for something that large. These things are kind of these smaller, like Triceratops style looking little quadruped things are moving along pretty well. These things just this massive T-Rex just plows into them, knocks one of them over, and just proceeds to just chomp at it, and just the huge head there just biting away at there. Scale wise, you realize it's probably a good 15-20 feet tall, this thing.
I'll slap
I'm
the
just
captain
gonna
on
be.
his back
I'm just
and
gonna be
says,
talking to
I
Elia
don't
and
want to go
telling
down
her.
there. Let's avoid that.
Yeah, it seems to be probably a good idea. Give me perception checks all around there, everyone, to see what some things you notice about the area where this is taking place. Yep. Yeah, hopefully everyone's dice work. We'll see. Excellent.
I'm just gonna be telling Elliot everything that's going on, every
Oh
single
yeah,
creature
she
that
is
we
just
see.
fascinated. I mean, the fact
Yeah.
that she can't wait to see these things that you, if not in person, then at least see them from your mind, essentially.
Yeah.
Yep, no worries.
How does that
good.
work if she
Yeah, it
gets to
works.
see them through my eyes? Would she still be able to turn into them when she's at the right level?
Probably not. Basically, you need to actually like see them and kind of almost interact with them to kind of see how the musculature works and everything else.
Okay.
Just an image wouldn't do it. You have to actually physically see the creature. Like watch it move and watch it eat and everything else that it needs to do. So,
I'll have to bring her with us next time then.
you all will get to a number of things here. From Sora, you'll spot one thing that you're looking down there. You will spot there's a number of smaller raptor-like creatures that are sort of like waiting in the wings, essentially, and some small ones that kind of run around almost at the T-Rex's feet. Little short raptor-looking little things that kind of run
Vultures.
around it there, effectively. And speaking of that, the rest of you will also spot there are definitely pterodactyls that are kind of flying around, almost like vultures would be, just sort of like kind of keeping tabs on the scene below. Um, as you sort of as you kind of see it off before you there, and kind of you pass over within about a half an hour or so after obviously the kill, the T-Rex goes stomping off, and everything else starts to move in on it. And it's just this like you'll see pterodactyls like dive bombing and snatching up chunks of meat and such like that, and landing on things there. You'll see some of the other like smaller raptor-sized things there moving in and feasting on the carcass as well, as the rest of the herd moves on and leaves it behind. As there's not much they can do about it. So over the course of the next couple of days, you're coming along the edge. You're moving along the edge of the lake here, and you'll see obviously the swampy terrain and everything else. And you're probably maybe, according to Hogarth's maps and everything else, there maybe about 30 miles or so away from the destination, essentially. And as you approach, you'll see something of a commotion. You can't quite see buildings yet, but between where you are right now and where you assume you can see the river, you can't quite make out individual buildings there. Although eyes and ears will tell you that there are buildings there. There's a settlement there, where the river meets the lake, similar to the last one we saw. But you will see a somewhat similar scene to what you just left. Only the thing that you're seeing on the ground is bigger.
Attacking or the corpse?
Well, you will see a what you looks very similar in shape to the Tyrannosaur you just saw. This one is bigger, significantly bigger. And in the trees and swamp, you will see a number of lizard folk that are trying to fend this thing off. It is a dark hide on this creature that they're fighting, almost black in color. You can see that there's a number of lizard folk there with spears and bows kind of working around it, kind of packed there. And what looks to be a larger group kind of hanging off away from the actual scene of the fighting. You'll see
Are
you're
they
not
going after the monster, or are they going after
they seem to be trying to
lizard
fend it
folk?
off, or so it's definitely the lizard folk that you're seeing there are locked in combat with this thing. They're not
Even
they're not
this-
fleeing.
Even the other one on the side is.
The smaller group of lizard folk, the larger group of lizard folk there are hanging back a ways there from the actual fighting there. You can kind of seeing them kind of hunkered down there, staying in the shrubbery, staying out of the way. As
Is that where the
other
children are? Is that looks like more like the children and it's the warriors fighting it off?
It has that. They're definitely the ones that are hunkering
has
down there.
that
There are
vibe.
there are definitely some smaller folk that are among them. Yes. So what you'll see is a scene like this. Effectively, you are approaching from the north, coming to the south. I can put the ship on there so you can see where that is. That's not your ship. Where's your ship? One thing real quick here. There it is. You guys are coming from up this way. So yeah, if you look to the very north of the map there, you can zoom out a little bit. You will see that, yes, there is a group fending them off there. And somewhere back over in these trees over here at the south of the map there, if I just kind of zoom in there a little bit. Kind of right about here where this tree is there's a group, probably a good 30, 40 yards away from the actual fighting that are staying out of sight out of there. And there's definitely a cluster of lizard men surrounding this thing, fending off with spears, firing arrows at it, and everything else.
Okay, I'd suggest if we're going to help, we should come around to this side. Whoops, let's do this. Come around to this side and draw the. Why is my cursor not? There you go. Over that way to draw the monster towards that way. That way, if those are children or younglings or hatchlings, whatever the lizard men call them,
Hatchlings. We are hatchlings.
They come towards us.
Okay.
We were
And
fighting
I'm
lizard
gonna
men on this map on Friday.
Oh, you were? That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm
that's
going
great.
to I'm going to assume that this distance is going to be like times 3, so that'll be 300 feet.
Effectively, by the
Or
time you're on the
210
map
feet,
here,
210
it's
feet.
it's about to scale. Yeah. Obviously, you still are a ways. I'm putting you where you're entering the map from. So yeah, you can pretty much put yourself on the map where you want to be. But the map scale is about right. So basically, yeah, from here to the edge of the map is about 80 feet or so.
How do we do this again?
Knowing that we're coming up with this, I'm going to activate my all-purpose tool and activate my force turrets.
Okay.
Do that before we get into this.
Yep.
All right, how do I put my token on
All
the
of the
board
above.
You just drag. So go to your character sheet in your journal there, and just drag yourself onto the map. And essentially, you can have the ship drop you wherever you want here. So if you want to start there, if you want to start closer, you want to start. Essentially, they will lower down there, so you can basically drop off of rope ladders, or you can just hop off and feather fall, whatever you want to do.
Dun,
I
dun,
mean,
dun, dun,
I'm
dun,
gonna
dun, dun,
activate my
dun.
boots.
it's not
How we're 70 feet up right now.
You tell me. That's
At an
up to you.
angle?
Yeah, effectively, the ship can come down as low as you need there. So if you want to drop off, you want to have them lowered to 30 feet there. You just say the word. The captain and AL will make sure the ship is where you want it to be for your insertion point, essentially. So you pick where you want to drop off and how far away you are.
When I go to drop myself off, the cursor has a hole in it. It's like, no, this isn't going to happen. It's got a red circle with a line through it. It's like, nope.
You have to do it from your name out of the journals
Yeah,
page.
drag your name, yeah, not the picture of the name. When you hover over your name, it should turn blue, and then drag that out to the map.
In the journals page.
Yeah, and not from below.
No, I'm hovering over it. Nothing's happening.
Like that. So I put you on the map there. Can you move that token around now?
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. You're all set. So again, I'm not seeing. Amethyst, you were down here. So yeah.
Oh.
So no worries. So you want to drop from there, and the ship will just sort of like hover up out of the way.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I can drop from there.
Okay.
And I'll obviously third thing activate is the rocket boots. So.
Sure.
I'll cast fly on myself.
Excellent.
Got my carpet.
Okay.
I've handed my
course you do.
boots to Sora.
Okay, so Sora, you can't wear boots exactly, but you
Oh.
could have Eldon essentially do more like of a shin guard essentially, so it's above your feet, there, but still wraps around the lower part of your leg there to act very similar in a similar way. So
Very
yes,
quickly. Very quickly.
you've had 2 weeks to do it, so or even
Okay,
a little over a week to do it there. So yeah, it would not be hard. Essentially, you're gonna pull the foot part off the boots. And just make like a greave essentially, and attach the lower legs there. Let's go ahead. I'm
My
going to pull up
toes easy to
initiative.
breathe.
Yep. Let me
Okay,
go ahead
can you
and get.
find them in the journal?
I did. They're on the page already.
There you go. Go ahead and do your initiative, and yes, that is what it's called. Um, just to describe this thing, it is a T-Rex just magnified, about half again taller, about 25 to 30 feet tall. This thing is, and just massive, huge, but and then black, a very dark black hide.
Mm-hmm.
That is what you see. Good Lord, Eldon, what did you roll? 20?
20.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, natural 20. Okay.
Credit.
Yeah. Yep. So,
That's my
uh,
maximum until a little
yep.
later.
Yep.
It's
So,
okay. It still goes before me.
let me, I'm just going to do one more initiative roll here. I just want to just see where
Wait,
the lizard folk are going to be in all this.
you did that on my name.
I did? What?
No, that was weird. It came up as me then, and then it changed. That was really strange.
Oh, I don't know.
Sorry.
Let me go ahead and add a lizard folk. And they're going to go boop on 9. Well, fine.
Do lizard folk speak Draconic?
You don't know.
Um,
They
Do
probably can. You guys have never actually only met one lizard folk so far, so you're not sure, like in
Mhm.
person. That one did speak Draconic.
I
But
was working
you,
for a Dragon King, so
yeah. So maybe.
yeah.
All
All
right.
right.
So,
Okay.
Eldon, you go ahead. You first there.
I'm basically 40 feet up, and
Okay.
then I am going to shoot off some some little bolt things here. 19 hit.
Yep, that will hit.
Is that one? 6
Thud
force
into its
damage.
hide there.
Well, I hit.
Definitely hits. Definitely all 3 hit.
And then an additional D8 for kicks and giggles.
Sure. Okay, what is that total there? The 13,
2,
21, 23.
20, 23. Yep.
Um, being observant there, watching it there, it sort of like thuds under the hide. Doesn't seem to notice it very much. It definitely has an impact, but probably not as much as you would normally expect.
Oh, that stinks. Um, and then kicks and giggles. 19 again.
That will hit.
And did you do the fun thing in our heads? I'll push the thing 5 feet away from all those people.
Is there a size limit on how much you can do?
I think it's large. Is the thing huge?
It, yes, it is.
Oh no, then no, I don't push it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah. It definitely, and you can see that it definitely impacts. There are arrows kind of stuck in the hide, but there's very little blood coming from them. It's just like stuck into the hide itself. The hide is very, very thick. So you're not sure how much damage these guys have actually done to this thing. There are some definitely some punctures and scratches on its lower legs, where they've been stabbing at its legs, for the most part with spears and such. But it doesn't look like it's bothered by much at all yet.
Does it look like it just resisted that force damage?
Yes,
Okay. Everyone.
something about the thickness of its hide.
Small problem. We may have a creature extremely resistant. It definitely resisted some of the damage from my force bolts.
Okay.
And that is the end of my turn.
All right, Lucas.
Yeah. close.
You'll see these two back here with bows kind of look back up in your direction as the glowing things fly past you there. This one's a little bit larger than the rest. He's like calling out orders essentially to the rest of them. This guy over here is tending to someone who's obviously been crushed a bit.
Crush.
Yeah,
Crushed a bit.
yeah. Crushed a bit. You're not sure how much he's.
Just a little bit.
The guy's lying there still on the ground. There's definitely blood on the ground around him. So, but this guy's tending to him over here. So yeah. So Lucas, sorry, go ahead, Lucas.
Fly to there. Oops.
Excellent. Yep.
Can I cast that in?
Okay.
Not so much for the damage.
Yep. To make it move.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Flip it. There we go. That's good. Yeah. 17 does not save against your 20. So it has to move its speed away. Okay. We're gonna put him partially off the map here. Can't say. I will mark. It is now. It basically bolts away from this as whatever effect. What effect does your Distant Whispers have? Is there a visual effect to it, or is it just sound?
It's kind of psychic, so it's in his head,
Okay.
really.
All right. So it sort of like thrashing its head around there, kind of like snapping at the air, and then sort of backs away suddenly. And so it moves with a ridiculous, like a scary speed. Like it just bolts away. Moves 50 feet in one move.
Wowza. Okay.
It's huge. Doesn't surprise me.
I mean,
Yeah, but
it's massive.
it moves that bulk really quickly. It's not like it doesn't seem to need a whole lot to get up to speed. It just these massive clawed like feet just dig into the mud and terrain there and just launch itself backwards away. It turns and moves. They all swipe at it as it tries to go, just kind of bouncing off of its hide for the most part there. Let's just see if anyone get lucky. Nope. All ineffectually just pinging off of its hide as it goes away. Right. So it just, I won't. Yeah, it's off the bottom of the map here, 50 feet. So
Yeah.
about 40 more feet there, so you can see it is a one-turn thing. It moves its away and it's done. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Use its reaction to move away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So essentially, it sort of stopped and just sort of like hung, and it's just this. It just kind of like, and you can feel the ground rumbling from its footsteps there, and just this low growl that just like rips through the train ahead of you, and it turns, stops, and looks back at you all, taking note of the flying people that are above now. It's sort of like now tracking all the information around there. A little bit. There we go. Okay.
I haven't had a
Right.
long rest. Still got spells going. I'm gonna have to do
Oh,
that now.
yeah, go ahead and do that now because you've definitely, it's been days since that happened. Yeah, if you guys have long rested, you definitely have had a chance. The Amethyst, you are up. Yeah,
Oh, God.
whatever Lucas did it back.
Yeah.
How high up are you, Lucas?
How tall is this thing?
About 30 feet.
Probably still about 60 feet up now.
Okay. I'm gonna put that on your. I can see that on you. How long you said you were 40 feet up?
Yeah, about 40 feet up. I
Yeah. Putting it on
intend on maybe trying to heal some of those.
Cool. All right. So Amethyst, what are you up to?
Can't find the carpet. Oh, it's. I know where. It's
Oh, did I
around
put
the
it? Okay. Yeah, it's
Carpet flying, okay. It gives me... What's the movement speed on it? I can't...
80, I believe, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's that.
It's the
Some-
smallest
some-
version.
It's,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
something around there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the smallest version. You can hold the least amount of weight, but
Yeah, 80
Let's-
feet.
let's-
Okay.
okay. We got there. Oh, 16? That was 80.
No, that was to Sora. My bad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Sora's flight stage. Yeah.
Yeah. Sora's flying speed is 60 feet.
Mhm.
Chaos speed.
I like above it, kind of like...
Yeah, it's 50 feet away from here, so it's about 40 feet from that spot where you're pointing to right now. It went off the map in the south.
Right. Oh, I
should
want
have-
to
I
get
should have
close
thought of
enough
that.
to it. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, you're still about 40 feet away from it there.
Okay.
You kind of do this. And, do,
But I'll be like high. Right.
oh, what's your elevation?
Yeah, probably about 50. Maybe 6, I don't know. I don't want to get close enough for it to bite me.
Right. Okay. Let's see here then. So you move there. That's your move. What do you want to do for your action?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely 80 feet. Yeah.
Yes, it's oh, that's got a range of 120 feet. I could do that one. I know you don't like it.
Sure.
I didn't think it'd succeed very well on us. The one I wanted to do, it says that it has no effect on creatures with 2 intelligence or lower, so I'm not even going to risk that because I don't think they're very clever. But who knows?
They have good wisdom, but not high intelligence. So yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay. And that is...
okay. Okay. With that, then we come to Grimbar.
It is now incapacitated until the start of my next turn.
Sure.
I'm gonna come up to here, under the tree, get where I can still get. It's about 30 feet movement from where I was,
Sure. Yep.
and I'm going to take a shot at it with my.
It's about 110
medium.
feet from there. So
Yeah, it's medium. My bow goes out to 320.
so, but you're beyond your first range increment, though, right? It's 80, 320.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have
So you're
sharpshooter?
no.
So what?
You
My
can
what?
do. Oh, so
My
go ahead.
what?
You know, a sharpshooter, so you can't ignore range
No.
increments. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be a disadvantage unless you can wrangle up an advantage. Oh, no, never mind. It's incapacitated, so you definitely are a flat roll.
It's just a straight roll, right?
Yep.
Unless you want a bonus action steady.
You can't from there because you already moved.
Oh, we already moved. Okay.
You moved to get there. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. It wouldn't be any sneak. It wouldn't be any sneak attack on this then.
No.
Not yet,
Nobody's
anyway.
been-
No one was melee with it. Yeah.
Well, see, it does that, and I don't know why it does that.
It's okay. It just plays automatically there. So definitely hits there. And does damage to it.
So it'll be
Yep.
12 points.
A glowing arrow thuds into it there. Kind of sinks into its hide a little bit. A little bit of blood comes out from it. It's definitely felt that, but it's incapacitated, so we can't do much about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It doesn't say roll with advantage against him.
Incapacity, yes, it absolutely does.
Oh.
It has to. You can't dodge it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Come on, what's going on here? Sec.
Ooh, thank you.
Hold on. Sec. Let me just verify because I want to make sure I'm not.
I knew that paralyzed incapacitates, and then you get attack rolls with advantage against them. But incapacitated just can't take actions or reactions.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Well, roll that again and see if you actually hit, because you are disadvantage. You are at disadvantage.
Sorry.
Me?
No problem. Yeah, just roll your attack again. The same damage roll. I just want to see if you had.
Also, is your dragon's got force right now, right?
Yeah, it took less damage. Only 2 less damage.
Right.
It does an extra d6 of force damage. It still does the normal damage. But
Yeah. I just wasn't sure if we.
okay then. In that case, yeah, it actually does not stick into his hide enough. It sort of like thuds into the thing there, but doesn't go all the way. Doesn't go deep. Okay.
Okay.
So, in that case, lizard folk all sort of at this point, sort of like looking around. This one will move up and grab this guy and bring him back to here as well, who's not looking very good either. These all sort of range themselves around there, kind of getting into a more of a defensive position again. These two take shots. Let's see if they actually do anything with those shots. Nope. Wow. One of them has some serious problems there.
Uh-huh.
This one is now calling out to sort of, and you will actually hear in sort of odd draconic there. Thank you for help, essentially. And then from right over here, Lucas, you're going to see this there. You will see a bit of motion as right around here, from right here within these trees, another arrow goes flying out, and we'll see if that one hits. And you see an arrow fly out from here and thud into the chest of this thing, just kind of about a few feet below its chin, thuds into the chest there. And we're talking I call it an arrow. It's more like firing something about the thickness of a broomstick that just thuds into the thing there and delivers a pretty massive wound, just sticks deep into the chest piece there. You can't quite make out the shape. Another lizard man over here. You're just gonna see a figure in these trees. Just basically something fires out there and thuds into it. But that's that. Sora.
I'm gonna fly to there
Okay.
because my lovely rocket boots that I just got,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to cast lay on hands on whoever needs health that is over there.
All right. They're both looking pretty bad. They're not quite dead exactly. But these two right here on the ground, this one here he's pretty much been, they've both been kind of crushed by massive feet. But you do stop some of the bleeding. You can see this one here is still not in good shape, but he's not like on death's door at this point here. This one has been tended to and is kind of in the same boat where you can see his eyes are open. He's sort of like looking up there, but he's got really horrible like wounds of being crushed. bones are sticking out from the skin. It's not looking good, but he's at least awake. Both of them are. This one's not moving, but you can see he is breathing at least. As you lay on hands on him. Excellent.
So there's 3 of them there, or 4 of them?
There's 4. Sorry. There's 2 that are upright and 2 that are down. Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
This one dragged him back. This one was already tending to this guy over here. So it's essentially, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep. You'll notice as you land here, they're all wearing various like leather and hide armor. Their weapons are obviously well made. And the guys that are over on this side, kind of dark gray almost hide on them, where these are sort of almost like a dark green. Definitely 2 different I may call species of lizard folk, but they're all sort of that same alligator-like body. Yeah. Think an upright alligator. The more broad shoulders there, the thick scaled hide. Yeah. So that's that. Eldon. Creature still there. It's sort of shaking off whatever it got hit by. Somewhat.
Oops. I don't know why I did twice, but 25. And then my action was actually to send the bird over. Oh no, is that both?
What's that?
Both. To send the bird over there, actually is command with a bonus action, and then action to hear. Yeah, no, it's both.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so my action is to send my homunculus familiar to go heal the other guy for 14 health.
Okay. You'll see that the guy here is very shamanic looking. He has a lot of like wraps and he's wearing hide armor, similar to the other ones here. But there's definitely like extra like fetishes and bone charms and that kind of hanging off of him there. And so it kind of starts as this metallic bird lands there and then sees the healing energy and in sort of a broken draconic.
My owl will give
That sounded like Wookiee.
Yep.
My owl will give him a blink, and then we'll start flying back upward.
Cool. All right.
He'll get about right there. That's it.
Lucas. You can see that the pterosaur is definitely like shaking things off there, sort of like now looking around wildly to see what's around there, sort of like eyes locking on the flying things around.
Is it still incapacitated?
Well, it had its turn, so I would assume at the end of its turn it's not longer incapacitated.
It's
Or is it-
incapacitated until the start of my next turn.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it's technically yes, it is then because this goes next.
Mhm.
Can I move and ready in action?
Sure. Which one already?
I'm going ready to cast the same spell again when it starts moving. When
Okay.
I can see it's no longer incapacitated.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Kind of move within range.
What's the range on it? You're about 40 feet. You're about 40 feet from it right there.
60 foot.
Yeah, so you can back up a little bit if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. All right then. Anything else you want to do as a bonus? Since it's your so you ready the spell, effectively, then it will go off when it's no longer incapacitated.
Yeah, I'll do that
And
now.
okay.
Either way.
Any bonus action?
I'll give body inspiration to Amethyst.
These are both flying in various places, kind of looking down at this creature there. One thing you will see is there are the pterodactyls like definitely circling above, and there's about 4 of them up there. They're kind of above you, so probably a good 80-90 feet up, kind of just circling around up there. There are 4 of them. You'll also notice that kind of where the group of lizard folk are huddling back here, there are dotted around a few other like smaller raptor-like things, mostly the size of the size of a chicken and a turkey. Just kind of like just hunkered down and watching, essentially. Amethyst. Start of your turn. It's finally just sort of like shake its head and as it just sort of at this point gives up a really loud sort of like trumpeting roar a bit.
Uh-huh.
And
So
my
you
spell
want to do your
goes off.
turn now?
Lucas spell
My
goes
spell
off. Yep. So as it snaps out of it there, let's see if it's going to run some more. Let me pull up its stats here. Yep, sure does. So it now runs another 50 feet away. It's now 100 feet away from you.
You're a pain in the butt.
Is it running in
Yep.
the right direction?
No, it's running away. It has to run from Lucas, so it's running the wrong way.
So it's running
off the
toward the
map.
city, right?
Yeah, it is, in fact.
Yeah, great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's an animal. I was thinking if I keep it running away, it'll eventually think this is not worth it and disappear.
It's running to where all the people are. And away
People
from
are
the
over here.
party. None of the
There-
party can reach it.
To the city, to the village that it was
Yeah.
that they're defending.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's not close, but it is in that direction. Like you can't quite see buildings and such yet. Actually, you're high enough up there. You can see that they're about a mile or so away, a couple of miles maybe.
Yeah, it's miles away.
Wow. And this thing can run how many feet per every 6 seconds?
It's all right. We got
Yeah,
this.
this-
Don't worry.
This thing can move about 50, 60 miles an hour.
What you need is to frighten it the other way so it runs toward the party and away from the village.
Look where the line of defense is. I was pushing it away from the line of defense. You asked me to towards them.
No.
We got it. We
Sora,
got it. What's up?
Actually, well, it's not their turn yet, so they did what they did.
No, it's not.
Effectively, these guys here are just sort of like with their they're looking around wildly, like wait, can't hunt if it runs. Looking sort of like helpless as the fact that the thing that they were attacking is running away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We
They
took
can-
the lunch for the whole week, for the whole village.
We just run away there 3 months worth of food.
They were stabbing it and doing no damage whatsoever.
I mean,
I hope so.
It will be fine. We'll fix it. Don't worry. We got this.
It's like attacking an elephant with a penknife.
I want its hide though. Make some good leather armor.
Grim, you are up.
No, it's not. It's my go.
Yes, that's hilarious.
Oh, sorry.
It's my go.
Sorry, it's still your turn now. Sorry. Yes. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still my turn because Lucas had my turn, and then now it's my turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it turns and runs some more.
I'm gonna try and stop it from doing that. I'm guessing this might fail because it says where does it say it? Am I going mad? Yeah, probably.
Yes. But it's okay. We like you when you're mad.
Cheers, dude. Just gonna cast it.
Do it.
Mental prison. Okay, so let me see how that works.
Wow. 82 damage.
In the
No, that's insane.
What?
Why are you hitting it
Why is
twice
it-
with psychic
Why
damage?
is it rolling double damage?
Are you rolling at
Yeah,
advantage?
No?
Well, no, it's rolling damage twice. Why is it rolling damage twice?
Did you roll at advantage and disadvantage on?
Is that no? Those are damage rolls, not attack rolls.
No, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, let me
the
see.
math looks totally jacked up on these rolls too. 30 plus 1d10. What? And then the other one is 10d10.
This one says 5d10.
It
The
says.
first one.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will explain. It says, on a failed save, the target takes 5d10 psychic damage, and you make the area immediately around the target space appear dangerous to it in some way. You may cause the target to perceive itself as being surrounded by fire, floating razors, etc. Blah blah blah. Whatever form the illusion takes, the target cannot see or hear anything beyond it and is restrained for the spell's duration. If the target is moved out of the illusion, makes a melee attack through it, or reaches any part of its body through it, the target takes another 10d10 damage.
So it's just
So
the
that's
first
why
one.
it rolled.
Yeah,
So
it
it
doesn't
takes
take.
the first one and takes the second one if it tries to continue moving. But I don't know how that will that stop it from moving, or will it continue to move because it's frightened of Lucas? Big bad
That
Lucas.
is-
No, that's a one-turn thing. Doesn't keep moving.
No, but if it tries to
Strange
move
for
out of
spell
it, it takes
duration.
that second lot of damage.
Well, I mean, let's see. It takes took the 32 damage, 30 damage from the first. And if it tries to move out of it, it takes 10d10.
As
Yeah.
long as you're maintaining concentration.
Yeah.
Because it is a concentration base,
Yeah.
right? Do I understand that?
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah.
It's
Say,
taking. Yeah, it can't make that save. I'll see if it rolls a 20. I will say that because it has a 2 intelligence.
Oh. Wait, if it only has 2.
It doesn't say anything about that in the spell description.
It doesn't. Where did I read that? It must have been a different spell.
Different spell.
Oh,
I'm
it's
sure.
that
I
one
think
you
that was
don't
the
like.
first spell used.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one you
Yep.
don't like. Does it say
Well,
that? It's not.
You mean the one that
Don't
just
like this
affected
one
it?
either.
I don't like that one either.
Well, here's the thing, though. You just used it on it, and it took damage and got incapacitated. It wasn't. It doesn't affect it.
Huh?
Synaptic static. You cast it on it last turn. It's
Yeah,
immune
it's not
to
that
it.
one then. Okay.
Read your spells.
A creature with intelligence of 2 or lower cannot be affected by it. Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't incapacitated last turn, and it wasn't. Okay,
Oh, for God's sake.
okay, that's something to keep in mind here, because yeah, this is
Well, she
not.
did say that. She read that out loud.
Well, she read it for
Oh, no,
this
no.
spell, not this one. Yeah.
No.
No,
Last
it's not
time
that.
she did
That's
read
not
it.
the one I cast.
Last turn, you cast an static on it.
I did.
That was
It was-
that was.
That doesn't think it's Psychic Lance. Rylithan.
Oh, it's
Psychic
Lance. Oh, okay, that's sorry. Okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
yeah, she was thinking of casting it.
Right.
That
got
was
it,
the one
okay.
I didn't cast because I didn't think. But I don't know if is that metagaming. Because I mean,
I mean,
Probably.
whatever. I mean, you cast your spells. You cast your spells. It's fine. It's like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have known. You didn't cast an empty static, not because that's an area effect spell. It's one creature, so it seems.
yeah. Oh,
makes
that's
sense.
right. I was thinking
Yeah.
if those things come down, I'll be able to do that because it's an AoE.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Grim, this thing ran another 100 feet away, or no, 50 feet away, and then it gets blasted by something or other. That's going to be fun.
Is this a lizard man here?
Yeah, these are all lizard men here. Yes.
No, I'm not there. The one right here.
Here. Yes. Anything there is lizard men. Yes, they're all different types.
Okay. I'm going to move right there.
Okay.
Yep. I think I gotta do this now. I'm gonna move right here. And can I see it still at a
Yeah, it's
flat
you-
rate? Or
you
is it
can't
at a
miss it, yeah.
disadvantage?
Well, it's at this point going to be. It's now 100 feet away from Lucas, so it's definitely over your 80-foot range. Yep.
Oh, it's definitely over my 80-foot range.
It's within your.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just curious, am I at a disadvantage?
Yes, because it's beyond 80 feet, but not beyond your long range. So, for the 80, 320, so it's going to be anything beyond 80 feet is a disadvantage, up to
Okay,
320.
so how do I put the
Attack rolls
disadvantage
against a
on
creature
my
roll with advantage, so it'd be a flat roll. because it's currently
It's
Restrained.
by the
Current
spell.
restrained, yeah. So basically, yeah. So
sorry.
this is where he has advantage. So yeah, this was a straight roll now. Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so if I just do it this way, and just roll 2 20s like this.
Just roll 120. You don't need to roll 2.
Oh, I don't need to roll 2? Alright, then
No.
never mind.
Yeah, it's a straight. You have disadvantage, but you have advantage because it's restrained. So it's a straight roll. So
Okay. Here again, I'm just wanting to roll,
just roll. Yep.
and it rolls all the damage.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just adding it automatically. I can ignore what doesn't apply. Okay. Very similar. Another arrow thuds into it. This one does hit. So yeah. Sinks into the hide a little bit there. No sneak attack because it's
Yeah. Somebody
it's
keeps
straight
scaring
line.
it away from me.
Yep.
My short little dwarf legs.
Well, it's not moving now.
Okay.
When it
Lizard
does,
folk.
it's going to take another 50 points of damage. Or 5 or 10 d10 damage.
Lizard folk are going to go ahead and at least charge forward there, at least up near about where you guys are, kind of taking kind of below where you are. They're taking up a position. They call out, and some of the ones over here, the guys that are over here, will kind of move off to the north a bit, kind of getting up. So there's a cluster of lizardmen kind of off the map on this side. They're just moving up north away from where it is now. Let's see. These guys all do their things. This guy's gonna, seeing things are in hand, is gonna move forward up there to back up these guys. These two fire arrows. Nope. One more fires an arrow. That will hit. Lucas, you'll see another arrow come from this way here. Another one of those thick, those really thick arrows that thuds into it again. Just there's that. He will move forward as well, kind of calling out to these guys over here. Must take it down. And then its turn. Well, it's restrained, so that stops now, and he can decide to move when it wants to. So it is moved out of the illusion. Oh, so it basically it's kind of stuck there, kind of freaking out. Okay, so yeah, it's just thrashing around there, just kind of like whatever is happening around it, whatever you decide to make the illusion. Are you making it burning? What are you doing to it?
I think
Attacked
fire.
by the pterodactyls.
I think
Okay.
fire is going to be scarier, isn't
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
That had being attacked by the pterodactyls.
Well, they're going to attack now. So at that point, they are going to like swirl around there, swarming and dive bombing the two of you that are up here. So there'll be two sort of dive bombing each of you. That would be, first one was on Lucas, second one there, one on Amethyst, and then one 19. Amethyst, what's your AC now?
Mine?
That'd be a 24 to hit.
It's 20.
All right, so Lucas, you're going to be taking. It's going to end up being 7 plus 3, 10 piercing damage.
They're not on. The creatures are not.
I know.
On the map.
I know.
Oh, okay.
They're hazardous terrain. They're a hazard of this thing. So
Okay.
effectively, yeah. You can target them, but they're essentially, yes. So
Well, unlimited of them.
there is a small swarm. So let me just put that. Actually, let me just pull that up here. Come on, that's not what I wanted at all. Come here, you. Come on. Grab them here. Yep, here we go. There's one. There's 2. There's 3. And there's 4. So yes, they're on the map now.
Very cool. Yeah, I just was thinking they might have been on the GM
Yeah.
map level.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just do this. Yeah, Lucas, 10 piercing damage as one sort of like, slashing damage. As it slashes you with its claws as it flies by. And Amethyst, that will be. Where is that? There's that. 5 damage, piercing damage, or slashing damage. Sorry. And you'll make a concentration check.
I've forgotten how to do that.
Constitution
My brain's
save.
not
Constitution
working.
save.
All right.
Yep. Yep. No worries. That's fine. So you only need a 10. Only do 5 damage to you. So yep, it's fine. Yeah. All right.
Well, I'm flying.
What's that?
I need to do one as well. Then.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
um,
That's right.
yeah.
I forgot you had that on you. So you concentration. Yep.
17.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you only need to roll 10. It's half the damage or 10, whichever is higher. All right. It's restrained. Yeah, because that spell doesn't let him do anything, so it's just restrained.
Aw.
No, only if it tries to attack out of it, and it can't attack out of it. It can't see beyond it, so it's basically just cowering inside of that, just like thrashing around. If it is moved out, or reaches any of its body through the illusion, which it can't do. I mean, it can try to move. It's not smart.
Mhm.
So yeah, it'll basically charge forward. Restrain means it's half move. Restrain, this makes no sense. Restrain means it can't move. So how is it supposed to move?
Don't know.
Okay, yeah, it's sitting there helpless. That's fine. Sora, you're up.
So these 2 guys who were down, are they
Mhm.
still? They got lay on hands, but are they down, or am I, good to leave?
Yeah, they're both healed. They're not dying. Yep.
Cool. No more dying peoples. We don't need more dying peoples. He is more than double my speed away from me, but I want to get up as close to him as possible.
He's 160 feet away from you right now.
I can go 120. So I
Sure.
will, because dash and then action and all that
Yep.
stuff.
You fly, yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Yep. So you
I'm
fly-
going to re-prepare, or I don't have to re-prepare, do I?
No,
The bonus
fine.
action. Yep. Okay.
It's
that's
still,
it.
still active. Okay.
Cool beans.
Right. So yeah, you're still about 40 feet away from it at this point. So. Okay, hold on. You're up.
I'm going to move a little closer.
Sure.
And that bird that was attacking. Excuse me. Big sneeze. Let's do lightning dart. Eldon's lightning dart.
Okay.
Was one of them things. Oof.
Crit it.
Okay.
Excellent. Yep.
Alrighty. Awesome. Oh my god.
What the heck is?
I rolled
5.
60.
Slow your roll. Slow
lightning-
your roll.
Isn't lightning dart your burning
It's
hand?
like a cantrip, and it does the same damage as a fire, so it does
Fireball.
3d10,
3d10.
and then you crit, so you double the dice.
Right. So 6d10.
60-10 is 50.
Holy
We
crap!
got 2 10s and a 9 and 3 7s.
Yeah.
That is nuts. Yeah, you just spear one through the lightning with a dart of lightning, and it just goes hurtling out of the sky. I mean, just absolutely dead.
That's a lot of damage. Okay.
That's nuts. Yeah,
On a pterodactyl.
yeah.
Yeah, on the
Yeah,
pterodactyl thing.
Of course.
Yeah.
Instead of,
You know,
the
you know much.
dinosaur.
You know how much health they have. 13.
Oh.
Yeah.
Overkill.
Essentially, you just basically shear its head off. Just like the lightning just like takes its head clean off as the body just just flails and spins down to the ground there and thuds into the ground.
That was the one going after Amethyst. No.
Yeah, they're both sort of swirling around at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, and then this one is the Force Cannon. That's going after the one on Lucas.
Okay. Yep.
And,
Good.
There we go.
So yeah, they don't have a lot of health. They're just sort of like there, so flying around. Okay. There's that.
And that's my turn.
Lucas, you have a couple of Pteranodons kind of. One just got blasted by a force cannon and went hurtling down toward the ground. The other one's sort of circling around you, flying, like just kind of gliding around. The Pterosaur is just standing there, kind of like thrashing around, not able to do anything.
He's 100 foot from me, roughly.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
I'm gonna fly down. Cool. I'm gonna move and use my action to fly. So 120 feet from the other side of him, but going down to the ground.
Okay. So you, as you get down toward the ground there, yeah, this thing is just towering above you, 30 feet tall, just thrashing around, essentially unable to do much of anything. Can't see you or hear you right now, so it's just like there.
Yeah, that's my turn.
Amethyst, you're up.
Sorry, I was doing T-Rex hands.
Mhm.
I'm probably gonna just. I'll just blast some of these things that are around me because I don't like it.
Good night.
I get 3, so I'm just whatever the 3 that are closest to me.
Sure.
That's what I
Okay,
meant.
we'll just hit. Yep. Definitely hits. All 3 hit. Just D10 hit, so 3d10 damage. Okay, I'll blast one out of the sky.
Wait.
Three pop into the one. That one's still dripping a little blood from on his claws there where it scratched you, and you just blast it out of the sky. Maintain the concentration. Yeah. So, Grimbar.
Alright, I'm gonna move to here. But as I'm doing so, I want to see if I can see who or what is firing that
Sure.
in there.
Give me a perception check. Okay. You will see that there is a fairly large figure there. You can't make much of the details on him because he's kind of like essentially in the trees and brush there. Definitely a taller, lankier figure than the lizard men around here. And you kind of see a large bow in this individual's hands. With a 19, you can make out a dark hide, darker than these ones even. Kind of like looking back with the two of them, definitely darker colored hide of some kind. Other than that, looks to be a taller, lankier, darker lizard folk of some kind.
Okay, no, all right.
You can spot him there, but you can't see much more than that beyond the details. Like he's kind of down in the shadows there, kind of just like basically taking shots with a longbow. It's probably taller than you are.
Well, you said a massive bow, so I'm thinking man-sized or taller, something like Sora's size.
It's like it's like a 6-foot longbow, composite longbow.
Yeah, so it's Sora height.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's another dragonkin of some sort. But I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to take a shot at that last pterodactyl.
Oh, sure, up here. Yep, no problem.
Yeah.
He's within your range.
So it's a straight shot, no.
Straight shot. Yep.
I don't know if that hit or not.
That definitely is. Yep.
Okay. Damage.
Yep, that's not okay. Yeah, you gonna lamp the shot there, just kind of, and pick up there. That glowing bolt just shears through, clean through the wing, and it thuds into the body as it's kind of banking on a turn there, and then just hurtles down to the ground, thuds into the ground.
Okay.
Lizard folk are excitedly, at that point, sort of running forward now as this thing is not moving. These guys will move forward as well, taking shots, kind of thudding into its hide a little bit because it's just thrashing around strangely. Doesn't seem to know what's happening.
Is this water?
Yes, it is. It's sort of swampy, like it's about maybe ankle. Actually, you it's probably about like little over your ankle deep.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of swamp. Okay.
Yep.
Right. I've been trying to avoid going into deeper water. So.
Yeah. It's not right about here. It'd probably be about up to your thigh over here. Right about here, it'd be ankle deep. You can kind of slosh through that, no problem, or come around where they are, and there's not actually sort of a little higher ground there where they're running to. Essentially, they just charge forward. They do their thing there. Let me just see if he gets another. Nope. That arrow sort of just kind of lands just next, just to the right of it. Sora. I mean it. No, it can't see anything, so it doesn't know. It can't attack anything. So it's literally just.
It gets a save though.
A roll for disadvantage. Definitely roll for disadvantage.
I mean, it doesn't know anything is there.
Right, it's just attacking randomly.
It's surrounded by fire as far as it knows. There's nothing to attack. It can't see or hear anything. It's literally just there at this point. So,
wouldn't it be a spell? Wouldn't it be a
spell.
spell? You get a save every round.
It's the first
I don't
time
think
I've
so.
ever used it.
With a 2 intelligence. It doesn't say anything about
No.
it.
Does it say it's
Save.
active until it says it's active until it saves?
I need to double check that. I didn't think so. It didn't state an extra save. I mean, and it has to roll a 20 to save. It literally cannot. It's an intelligence save. Nope.
No, there's nothing.
For the duration, there's nothing. Yep,
The
it can't
duration.
do
For the duration of the spell.
On a
unless
successful save, the target takes.
on initially. Yes.
Initially, yeah.
If it fails a save, which it did, it can't see anything around it. It can't see or hear anything beyond the illusion, and it's restrained for the spell's duration. So it literally can't move.
Unless it successfully hits something, and then it takes 10d10 damage. Or.
Yep.
And it doesn't perceive anything, even attacking it.
Yeah.
It's on fire.
It knows it's being attacked, but all it sees is fire. So it literally can't see anything
That
beyond
is
the fire right now.
meanest spell,
That spells,
literally ever.
yeah, absolutely broken, but
I'm
is what it is.
protecting a town from a giant thing that's
Sure,
gonna eat
yeah.
them all.
Yep.
This is a sixth
No,
level spell.
it just did, but it was.
It's yeah, exactly. It's a little spell, but it's one of those ones like this. We'll just say, you know what? At this point, we can call this because it literally can't do anything. You guys will just basically destroy it while it eventually might thrash and break the spell. So it literally is going to go down.
Jim, are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you. It's just one of those things where you trivialize this encounter to the point where this
the DM.
what had 250 hit points and would do on average 20 to 30 per hit. It literally couldn't do anything. So
You're welcome.
yeah, you guys.
Good job, Amethyst. Good job.
Yep. Well, Luke is making it run every turn, so it couldn't do anything that way. So, yeah. But
I had to stop it from going towards the town. That's what I was trying to do.
yeah.
I thought they were trying to stop it coming this way.
So with that, and as this thing gets torn apart by you guys, as it essentially can't do much of anything, because for a minute it's just going to be taking damage, and if it does manage to move beyond the fire, which it can't see beyond or hear beyond, it would just take that 52 damage right there, and then get ripped apart by everything else you guys have at it. So with that, the lizard folk are sort of like move in celebration. At that point, at that point, when this all moves apart, there, the lizard folk that are all here will all pull out like brands of wood and torches and start like waving them around there at anything, and essentially all of the little like compies, the compsognathus, the little will get sort of like shied away from the torches that they have there. They'll sort of clear a perimeter around the massive thing, and then the group that's on the side will then move in, and almost immediately you'll see that there's among them, effectively, there would be a couple of lizard folk there that are a little bit not quite as burly as the rest of the folks here. They'll actually pull out these long hooked knives and start actually sinking it into the corpse area and start expertly pulling off sections of hide from this thing. The other ones move in once the meat is exposed. The other ones will move in with like knives to actually carve out some of the meat. And you will see among them not only lizard folk, but some smaller, what you mistook for children initially, are actually kobolds among them. And there definitely are some younger lizard folk among them as well. So you can kind of see not only some less combatant type lizard folk, they're kind of the skinning and butchering. Some younger lizard folk, there's obviously sort of like here to get experience and see what's going on here.
All about learning.
And then some kobolds among them as well. But stepping out from the trees here, at that point, you will see a very tall, 6'8" roughly, dragonkin with a bow that is a composite bow made of horn and bone and a massive thick bow there with a quiver full of arrows. They're a good about an inch thick. The arrows are stepped out and approaches, just kind of watching over things happening here, and approaches you all. Sora, he looks at you.
Ah, you must be Sora. Your mother has told me much about you. I am Grazus, her bondmate.
Daddy.
And with that, we're going to cut to break here as the lizard folk, who's the Actually, the father of Sora's younger siblings now has just entered the field and approached. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Go get some drinks and the restrooms and stuff like that. But thank you for being with us for the first half here. We'll see where things go next.
I'll fly down
kind of move everything up onto the map so people can kind of be nearby.
We're back.
All right. Hello, welcome back, everybody. We basically have a massive. I've been saying that word a lot this thing. I gotta say it's in different there. A humongous T-Rex style here. A very dark gray, almost black hide. Large white teeth, and it has been absolutely just decimated as it couldn't really do much under the psychic onslaught and of both Lucas and Amethyst. While you guys are checking things out, as the slaughter team moved in, that was hiding off in the wings there, this large 6'8" lanky black dragon scale black dragonkin steps forward and with kind of putting his bow over his shoulder there and introduced himself as Grazis, who is bondmate to Sora's mother. And that's where we pick up here right now. As he sort of steps forward and introduces himself. What are you doing?
We were in the middle of carving a T-Rex when he did this, right?
They were in the middle of it, yeah.
You weren't.
Okay.
I mean, it all kind of happened simultaneously. As a team rushed in there, started doing things. He stepped out of where he was firing from, and introduced himself. Seeming to recognize who you were.
She didn't say anything about you being here.
I was not my intention to be here specifically. I was helping the hunting party. I am technically a member of the clan here. I grew up with them, and so I was here, and when you approached, I knew who you would have to be.
Also, never said anything about you.
I understand. I mean, as I understand, you only have a little bit of things you can say at any given time. So I know she said that I existed.
Sure, because, the only way I could have new siblings is if somebody did.
Somebody did
Striga-
what?
Striga also mentioned the fact that the mother had a husband now.
Yeah, that Sora blew that over her mind. She wasn't even thinking about that stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Still getting used to the idea that her brother's got a wife.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I just got over the fact he's alive.
And yeah, we'll make him you can see what it looks there. Yeah, the jet black scale. It sort of has a sort of a wrap, which you'll notice also kind of underneath the kind of the loose dark drapery fabric he has around him there. It kind of helps him blend in with the terrain. He's wearing armor, strips of thick, what probably are very similar to this pterosaur hide. There is some sort of thick, dark hide that's actually interlaced with bone, and as a it has almost like a bone studded leather in a way, a heavy hide armor there. The bow across his back there. The bow itself is probably a good 3 to 4 inches thick, of what looks to be almost like Triceratops horn. That's actually been worked into a bow.
That's awesome.
And yeah, the arrows he has are good about an inch thick. The arrows he can fire out of this thing. There are some smaller smaller normal sized arrows in there as well, so you can fire either one. But the way they're notched, you can fire either there. Yep. Yeah. So,
Well, I can with the party here, go with you to the village. It is about maybe an hour, roughly 30, less than an hour's walk to the south. I believe your mother is waiting for you there.
Or we just hop on the boat.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. That would be much faster, yes.
Can the boat carry all of us?
Oh yeah.
No, the hunting party
item?
here. The hunting
Yeah, the
party
hunting party and the meat and all of us
they will
and
be
all
at
of them.
they will be at work for hours. It will take a long time to butcher all of this meat, and eventually, once they carve the top side, they will work as a team and flip it over to do the other side as well. So it is a matter of um, many hours worth of work. Yes, you don't want to waste the hide or the meat or the bone for that matter.
Can I ask for a couple of pounds of it for the ship's crew?
Well, that would be absolutely. You were very instrumental in taking the thing down, so you will get your share of the spoils as well. Yes.
Who has
Um, we,
who has the sending stone for the or whatever we use to talk to the ship's captain?
It's I have one.
I mean, you can just kind of wave to him there. He's
No, I
the ship at that point was yeah.
just need one person to come down from there, and that's the cook.
We could bring it. We could bring it with us. He's got to come down, and we got to get on the boat anyways.
Yeah.
So
Right,
he
but
gives
you
us
know,
a couple of few pounds, and then we get on the boat.
I also don't tell a chef what kind of meat she wants to carve away from. So, like, if she's gonna cut the meat, she's gonna cut it herself. I'm not doing that.
Oh, I'll do it for her.
Very much for one of the fangs
Just
of the
meat.
T-Rex and a big
No,
claw.
it's not just meat. She might want,
It's just meat.
it's not just meat. No, I
Um,
want to call her down and see what she wants.
I can send the sending to her if you want.
Mhm.
The captain's like, oh, we can definitely send some people down. That is fine. And so the ship will kind of descend down to about 30 feet or so and lower the rope ladders. Una will come down along with along with Amir, and the captain will stay on board. They're kind of like watching over the side, just kind of like keeping an eye on things. But the two of them will
I'm
step
gonna look
forward.
at him. I'm gonna look at the captain. I'm gonna look at him and hold up my hands. Look down here. And I says, "Do I look like I climb rope ladders?" This is a body of a dwarf. I'm a fine specimen, but I don't climb rope ladders.
Well, then you're going to have a difficult time getting back on board unless you can fly like these other ones.
Guess you're gonna have to hoof it with them. Hoof it.
I mean,
Troglodyte.
there's enough flying people around now, so. You actually say troglodytes. This is important. You actually say troglodytes. Do you?
You say it?
Yeah. I mumble it
least-
under my breath.
At least one of the kobolds that's working on the thing there will kind of look up at you, kind of like alarmed, like you just made the worst insult possible.
Wow.
He's like,
And I look at him.
Kinda look at you.
I point to him, not you. I point to him. I was talking to somebody else.
it's sort of like it's almost yeah. He's just like kind of goes back to work there and just like working there. The kobolds, effectively,
Grim, you
what you
should
have.
apologize.
The lizard folk have that sort of like alligator-like hide, whereas the kobolds have hide more like a gecko. It's sort of like soft scales. Look to them there. They have sort of almost like a canine-looking face compared to the wide-mouthed alligator-like face of the lizard folk there. Still reptilian, but not definitely of different species completely. It's not, and so looking now, you can see the definite differences between the two of them. The kobolds also, everyone, as it is daytime, they are all wearing sort of thick, either wide brimmed hats or some sort of like almost like it don't really have glass here per se, but there are these sort of like lenses that shade their eyes and allow them to work. Most of them are going to working. They're obviously still working okay, but they don't tend to like the light very much. You can tell that. But yeah, so Una will come out there and not talking with, but kind of as the chieftain who's here, who was a kind of a dark green hide as opposed to the kind of a dark gray hide of these ones here. He it's everyone barking orders at everybody as they're working, all in Draconic. And the Draconic, it's a little like a dialect issue of you recognize a lot of the words, but some of the pronunciations and usages are a little weird. So it's like, um, it's kind of like you mishear a couple phrases here and there, but if you pick up enough that if you know Draconic there, you can tell what they're saying. But there's some odd phrasing and word choices they use that don't quite match up with your your typical understanding of Draconic. But essentially, he talks to the butcher folks there and wanted to will kind of allow Una to sort of like make her selections essentially over what they're butchering, and she does take a few pounds, a good size like slabs of meat, and her and Amir take it back up.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. It'll be quite a delicacy to on the ship for people. Yes, I like it.
Very good. I'm glad we get to try dinosaur meat. Is there any way we can start helping them take back, like if we're going back anyways?
Oh no,
Start
it's going to
taking
be
back-
they're going to be here for hours. Like it'll probably take them about a good 6 hours to do all this. You can see they've barely even got the first side of the thing done at this point.
Okay, so then we'll
yeah.
just leave them to it.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know that I. Okay, yeah.
I mean, I will meet you there if you wish, or I can accompany you either way you want to go. I am happy to do either. I know your mother is expecting you.
Yes. It's up to you. I don't care. It's just making sure that these guys get back safely is all I really care about.
They will be fine at this point. Nothing in the area is quite as dangerous as these things, and they're a capable hunting party.
Sorry, you should get you to know your new daddy.
Amethyst, you should find a rock and hide under it.
I'm okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Go walk with him.
So, how often do animals like this actually? How often do you need to hunt something like this?
It is quite rare, really. It was only when they encroach on our territory that we worry about them. In our hunting grounds, when they start taking any of the larger creatures we would normally hunt for meat, we either have to drive them off or take them down, one of the two. So it matters. This is only probably the third one I've ever seen in my lifetime up this close. One was driven off, and we did have one when I was much younger. I was able to help with taking one down.
So wait, is this your city?
No. I grew up here among this clan. It is the Black Claw clan. I lived here I was rescued and brought out away from where I was not wanted, and I grew up here among the Black Claws.
He was rescued from the chromatics.
The metallics. He is chromatic.
Metallics.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
rescued from the metallics.
It is unfortunate, but we have found good purpose. Your mother and I, and those contacts we have made to ensure that our kind does not suffer the way others have.
Yeah. The people involved are doing a great job of it. I like it. I don't like that I haven't seen my mother in like 22 years, but hey, whatever.
Like 13, I think. But,
Yeah, I'm exaggerating on purpose. Uh-huh.
It is understandable. I cannot speak to that, obviously. So, I mean, I am sure you will have a lot to speak with her about.
Yes, yes, most likely.
I do want to reassure you, however, that I have nothing. I am not keeping her here. I am not holding her captive. She has found purpose here and a mission. She does more than I ever could. I only assist her.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So with that, at that point, you guys are all back up ship there. The ship takes off and continues. Probably it won't take about more than 10 minutes or so, and you start seeing the buildings and such. They are a little like here, where you have a lot of these shrubby trees and tall bushes and such. Um, you start seeing buildings that are almost hidden among them. You don't see any large structures. They're all sort of small things built in the middle of these clumps of trees and shrubs, and all kind of tucked up on the water side. And you'll notice as well that as you approach, it's very similar in style to what you saw back in Silverleaf Village. These sort of round hut-like structures there. That many of them are up on stilts, almost actually at the water's edge and raised up above the water. So as you move in, you'll see the structures are not clumped together. They're all scattered along anywhere these clumps of trees are. There'll be a hut or structure built in among them, and so it's scattered probably a few hundred yards along the coastline. These things are just sort of like almost stuck into these trees along the area there. So that from the air or from the distance, you wouldn't even be able to tell that there are buildings here. So, the ship, Grazos, essentially, you can, the most solid area to land if you wish is over there. I would not recommend landing in the water. There are some somewhat dangerous things out there that may decide to investigate if there's a large, something large on the surface. I'll leave it up to you either way you want to go. And the captain's like, well, inland's probably better, so I will we will sit down. He kind of talk to Ale and sit down over in the firmer area there. And Ale's like, okie doke, and just zooms in, expertly maneuvers the ship into place there, and lands on land. Anything else you want to
Does
do
it now? He didn't do it before, but he does it now, and I'm just mumbling, grumbling in dwarf.
He looks over at you and like, in dwarf, I am sorry. Landing and takeoffs are a bit difficult sometimes, so we don't do it for. It takes a lot of extra energy to have a full lift off from the ground.
God forbid I make you crash. And I'm giggling when I walk away.
It would be your fault, yes.
Yeah.
And with that, he sort of chuckles as well. He's not taking offense to it there, but yes, he does also speak Dwarven. Yeah, so they basically, the ship lands. You guys can just disembark there. As you have you landed there, you will see a number of lizard folk there have all sort of emerged from these structures, these huts and everything else. And kind of front and center, you will see Sora. Let's go ahead and move the big guy off the map real quick and kind of have other lizard folk here. Sorry, you will see sort of front and center among them there, another someone you sort of recognize. It's been a long time, but you will see the last time you saw her, she definitely dressed more in like armor, like similar to you, and had much more in the way of typical clothing and such that you would find in the city. Now she, where you have your kind of the frills, everything else kind of pulled, kind of tightly pulled back into this almost top knot kind of thing. Hers kind of flare out a little bit, and she's wearing this kind of drapey sort of dress looking thing. As you Grazos steps up to her and doesn't immediately show any signs of affection other than sort of a nod and almost like a half bow. Standing kind of behind her, you will see two dragonkin about the size, a little bit taller than Eldon. About 3.5, almost 4 feet tall, somewhere between Eldon and Grim. One with brilliant blue scales, a male child, and one with jet black scales, similar to her father. You will see the two of them sort of standing there. They both are actually carrying weapons. They both have little bows stretched across there. He has the little boy has an axe of some kind on his belt. There, it's kind of a weird looking axe. And you see the little boy sort of like kind of like step there, and he sort of like looks up at you, looks all at you, and sort of like kind of tenses up there, like he's getting ready to do something like protect his mom from a fight of some kind. He doesn't actually draw his weapon there, but he's sort of like kind of getting that position, like, I'm going to help, I want to do something. Where she just sort of stands, the young girl that just sort of stands there, looking at all of you, just kind of taking it all in, looking back at the ship, and just like observing everything around. I don't have tokens for them, I'm sorry, but they are sort of like on either side of them there. And I'll make them back a little bit smaller because I just wanted you to be able to see the images.
They're huge.
Yep. They are that big, no. She is, Sora's, how would you describe her, Sora?
My mom or me?
Your mom. I mean, in terms of like compared to you, in terms of like her size, build, whatever else that.
Well, she would be not in the armor that I'm used to seeing her in. So, like, to me, she looks skinny and not healthy. Like, she hasn't been eating. But, you know, that's just me. The way I remembered her is like a fighter. She'd be muscular. She would have, you know.
Oh, she's still very muscular. She just isn't wearing the
Not-
bulky armor. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah, not to me right now. But yeah, she's very close to the same color blue I am. I would say that she would be what you would think of when you think of a fighter who is got children, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she definitely, while she's not wearing armor, you do see that she does have a sword on sort of kind of moves in behind there, a bit of a curved looking sword that's sort of like in a way she could draw it out from behind her back essentially. She does have a long knife on the other side, and well, you're taken aback by the fact that she's not wearing armor because you normally saw her in that there. She definitely still looks, I mean, she's still, I mean, maybe an inch or so shorter than you, which is kind of weird because the last time you saw her, she was probably a head taller than you.
Mm-hmm.
But still definitely the broad shoulders, the thick arms, just not. Yeah, she just seems smaller because, again, you were 10. Had 10 when she left, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 10.
Yeah. Yeah. So older than these, you know, and you realize looking at them, they're about 6 years old or so.
8. I was 8 because my brother
years
left
old?
when I was 10.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So the 8 there. So yeah, these guys are probably a little bit younger than you were when she left.
Sora, it is good to see you. I I can't imagine what this is like, but it is good that you're here.
And she is speaking common, fairly, with all of you being here. Um, although she kind of looks at all of you in terms of like, there's a bit of a halting to the speech. Like she hasn't used common in a while. Um, so she does pause and grasp her words occasionally. She's trying to remember some of them. Because, yeah, everyone around here, nobody else really speaks common. So-
Some of them know Draconic, so that'll be fine.
Yep. Quick show of hands. Who knows Draconic here? One,
Me.
2, 3.
Sora's been teaching me a little bit, but I don't know it yet.
Okay.
I've been
So,
teaching her the cuss words.
Yeah, but you know enough to pick up a couple of words and phrases, enough to get the meaning of it for the most part there, but you can't quite get the actual like
Mhm.
the full conversation. And so with that, she sort of and back into Draconic then, for the most part there. Thank you for coming. So when last we spoke, I am glad you are here early. We have a problem. The people we were expecting were supposed to be here 2 days ago. And they have not arrived. We've sent out parties to between here and where they were supposed to be coming from. But they are not. There was no sign that they were lost along the way, that they were attacked, that they were delayed. As far as we can tell, our scouting parties have not been able to find any trace of them coming from where they were supposed to have left. I would hope, if you could, to help find them. I fear the worst, that they were lost before they could actually leave Drakal.
So we have to go into Tragal to get them.
Into the area, yes. We did not go all the way into. Okay. There are tunnels, massive network of tunnels beneath Drakal, and there is a tunnel that we use to bring people out, and our parties have not gone into the tunnels themselves. It is dangerous for our folk to go into there for a number of reasons. So, if you could, there was a child born. And she actually then sort of, similar to Staldia here. A child of white scales, born among the silver clutches. A person sympathetic to our situations agreed to bring them out. And they had not emerged from the tunnels. We are certain of that.
Kind of creatures are we talking about inside the tunnels?
At that point, there's a little,
I can help you with that.
and you look over, and kind of stepping out over this side over here is a dark gray scaled kobold, about a little over 3 feet tall, wearing what looks to be very much like stylized leather armor, not like the hides and everything else, but actually like leather armor. A a series of daggers stretched across like bandoliers on a couple, all designed for throwing. By the look of it, there, and this little guy.
I can help you with what's in there. My name is Kester Akandalam.
And she looks at him like,
Bless you.
You can call me Kath.
Queen what?
and
Kath.
Did you
Kath.
say cat?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you say
Cass.
Cass? Okay.
Okay.
Cass. Okay.
Mm.
Better not be cat. Apparently, Sora's mum doesn't like cats.
She
Oh, I
never
think
said
I'll-
that.
No,
Not what
oh.
she said. Mm-mm.
That's what Grimbar told me she said.
Well, Grimbar, let me show you my nice shiny teeth and tell you how they work. Stop spreading
I showed him
lies.
mine too.
and so,
Mine,
yeah,
mine have little sparks shooting out of them, though. So, like,
you'll actually at that point, as this exchange is kind of happening over here off to the side there, you'll actually see the little blue scaled boy is sort of watching all this happening, and just as you sort of mentioned, like shiny teeth and sparking like that, you're like, and you just like literally like he gnashes down his teeth there, and there's just a mouthful of lightning just kind of shoots up around his head, like,
Oh my god.
he's so
And
Gonna
he's-
back away from that way, you know.
Thing.
yep.
No, backing
Like-
away from that way, you know.
And she just sort of looks down at him and just sort of like puts the hand on, like, Jakar, come on, please, don't get involved with this. Like,
What? I should be able to help. I should be able to go too.
like, no, you are staying here. You are too young to be venturing out anywhere, and you still can't hit the target at 50 meters yet.
And you're like, fine.
Like stomping his feet around there. Very, very noisy little kid. There's like stomping his feet around, just kind of like,
Listen, I don't hit things from 50 meters yet either. I go up in their face and punch them. That's what I do.
That's my favorite.
and you know, Trakar actually literally means thunder in Draconic, whereas Nostalgia is roughly translate into black or darkness, in terms of the two kids there. So she at this point she is just sort of like calmly watching everything as if she's just sort of like, and you notice that she's actually taken up a stance almost identical to her father, who's just sort of like standing up to the side there watching as well with a bemused expression on his face there, smiling and just sort of calmly observing everything. Although you do notice that also he is literally scanning the horizon constantly as well there, just watching out and keeping tabs on things. So at that point, Cass,
So I can guide you to the tunnels. I can show you and tell you what's there. That's kind of one of my jobs. I do guide people to the areas there. I came from there originally.
Well, that's awesome. How soon do you think we should have to leave?
I mean, I don't know how long it's going to. I mean,
It takes
it's, and he kind of I'll point out to here. Pointing at the map here, we'll kind of zoom in a little bit. You guys are currently now here. Come on, move for me, please. You guys are about there now.
the tunnels we expected them to come from are right here.
Go ahead.
Wow. That's a bit of a haul.
Yes. We expected them to be here.
So, out of curiosity, the package is a young Dragon King, yes.
And the caretaker, yes.
Yes.
Damn.
What are y'all talking about? What are you doing?
I think we just made
come
some money from Grimbar.
Fine. I'm gonna do this over here. Roughly
And-
right about. This is not behaving, so let's do this right about there. Hey, where that? Come on, stop moving. Oh my god. Sorry. Not behaving at all. Right about there.
My internet just spiked too.
Yeah. Just being a pest. Okay.
Well, what time of day is it, Jim?
We'll probably say it's roughly afternoon. Late afternoon. Probably around 3 or 4 o'clock.
It's about a day's travel to get there, right?
Yeah.
To the caves.
Yes. Taking the ship, yeah. About a day's travel across there.
About a day's travel.
I wouldn't want to start walking in the tunnels at nighttime. So do we want to rest the night and then get up early in the morning and go? Aldon, for the first time ever, your stupid alarm clock waking us up at butt crack of dawn will be good.
At precisely 5:30. Yes.
Yeah.
No. No.
What?
No.
No party tonight? I
No.
mean,
No.
Just met up with your mom. We gotta have a family gathering party.
We get
I mean-
to have dinosaur butt meat on the ship.
We
We'll
got
be
dinosaur
fine.
butt meat.
Well, there's going to
No.
be a rather large feast and such here as well. I mean, celebration for taking down one of the large ones is always a cause for celebration.
Well, we should
Yes.
definitely be
Razz-
part of that,
Razz-
then, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you definitely were instrumental in making sure that there was no loss of life. Even it was a rather impressive display.
I'm used to it. I'm saving people all the time. I'm used to it.
Oh, for God's sake.
He's so
Right,
full of himself.
Just threw up a little bit of mouth.
In effectively,
It's hero work. I'm used to it.
Sora, one thing to point out, or actually, I'm gonna whisper this. I'm gonna message this to you just to.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying it. She's showing us her hand. She says, "Speak to the hand. Speak to the hand."
I'm still eating my meatloaf, sorry.
I told you I would do anything for dinner, but I won't do that.
You haven't had my meatloaf yet.
1 second, I gotta add this 8 gold to my back.
I am literally looking around on the ground now to find a stone to throw at Grimbar.
It's got
Which I'm going to pocket a few stones, and every time he says that he saved us all, I'm just going to throw a stone at him.
I hand you a couple of cogs. A
Bonk.
couple of random cogs.
I'm looking to turn violent.
So yeah, just message you there.
Yeah. I had to put my plate down. Mm-hmm.
Not a problem. Yep.
Um,
Actually, to clarify here, I mean, zoom in a little further here. This is actually not at the river's mouth. It's a little bit to the east of that. Come on. Why is this being such a pain? Okay. We're about there. That's actually a little closer where it was actually. So, not at where the river comes out. It's actually just to the southeast of where the river comes out. Yeah, that's so if you guys are up for it, then they will essentially. I mean, obviously, you can see on the ship. You can kind of wander around the village there. There's not a lot of like. There are a couple of. There is in one section, kind of in the middle of the village, there is an open fire pit kind of thing, where they're already setting up like the skewers and kind of doing beds of coals and everything else, kind of prepping for what obviously would be a massive, almost like a luau style kind of meat, like pig roast kind of thing. But there's going to be these big skewers set up there on these little stands above the fire coals. They are bringing out what appears to be jugs and earthenware jugs and various containers of some sort of liquids of some kind. You're not sure what it is exactly yet, but they start handing around mugs of things. It's very tropical, fruity smelling. Think kind of like rum drinks kind of thing. It's very similar to that. You do notice it's
Island Kool-Aid.
a bit, yeah, yeah. So it's sort of that sort of like has that citrusy and or fruity smell to it there. Very smooth, very tasty, and obviously the drinks start flowing freely, and you're essentially allowed to. Various dragonkin, various lizard folk will come up there and like kind of like very interested in seeing who you all are because they're not used to seeing people who aren't scaly. In fact, most of them have never seen someone without scales in their lifetime. So there's a lot of fascination with these people with these smooth skin.
I would,
me. I'm a
take
couple.
off my
And
helmet,
you
goggles,
being-
and all that
yeah.
jazz.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm a perfect.
yes, still smooth compared to them. You're not scaly.
Scales are smoother than fur, surely.
No.
I mean, they're jagged. The kobolds have very smooth, scaled skin. That very soft, supple, gecko-like hide.
Furry. And we like
Oh,
it.
What is Sora doing? Are you sulking?
No. Yes, sort of, kind of. During the party type thing, she's going to be talking to her mom. There's some stuff she needs to go over real quick, and then are we at the party? Is that what we're doing?
Well, so in terms of prepping for that, I mean, up to you.
Free
What you're gonna do
drinks, I'm
beforehand. Yep.
I just
Free
wanted
drinks, free food. I'm there.
before we do the whole party thing. I wanted to make sure if there was a place where we can get potions.
Is there any alchemists and such here?
Nope. Okay.
There are actually, I would say there are some like remedies, like sort of like they effectively are basically potions. They're sort of like these more almost like they are natural healing remedies from localized plants and fungi and stuff.
You're a
for
fun guy.
Asterisk, thank you. Asking around, you'll definitely see. They will offer up some. Effectively, they're it'll be 4 regular healing potions and 2 greater, effectively.
Greater.
Yeah, 4 regular, 2 greater. Doesn't seem to be anything stronger than that around anywhere. But then these guys, most of them wouldn't have need for much more than that, considering how many hit points they would normally have.
And then
So-
regular.
Anything else before the party kind of gets into full swing?
Mm-mm.
After you get there, the first part, a group of the hunting party will arrive, and they'll actually be bringing. What you'll actually see is they actually have what appears to be one of the rib bones, with large slabs of meat skewered onto the actual bone itself, and they're like 2 guys carrying it from either end there, as they just kind of like bring it on in there, and they literally take it up to one of the fire pits and just set it. The bone and the slabs of meat right on the actual the stands over the big fire pit.
Eldon holding his cup of tea, standing next to Grim.
Yep.
That is going to be delicious.
Yep.
Yes.
They actually at that point some of the older folks in there will come out there and start drizzling stuff on the meat itself. There, it smells really, really good. they'll actually start like rubbing stuff onto it there, and just and then occasionally they'll just take the meat and kind of turn it. They don't turn the rib because it's actually curved. They start they get the meat and kind of pulling it around until it's just sort of all smoking and steaming and smelling delicious. Lots of other they actually take and take little leaf wrapped these large like frond leaf things there with wrapping with like what appears to be like things like potatoes and other vegetables that wrapping up in there, kind of stuffing it in the very edge of the coals as the meat's cooking there. Just again, all kinds of delicious smells. People are definitely celebrating as more of the hunting party arrives there with bundles of things and more bundles of meat and more bundles of various stuff there, bringing a number of other chunks of bone and some of the teeth and such. They come in with it's almost like a steady progression of people arriving with other pieces that they brought in, large sections of hide and various bones and meat and stuff like that.
Speaking of the hide, I'll go to Sora's dad and
It's not my dad.
and ask him.
You're not
and
my
ask
dad.
Not my dad.
You're not the boss of me. I asked him. I says, "Is there any properties about that hide, or is it just really thick?" I mean,
It is really thick. It is a matter of. I mean, it actually points to what he has there. As this is a very similar hide, and it's sort of a dark gray as opposed to almost that black color it was the one that you just thought was. Yeah, and you kind of pulls it up there and you kind of shows it. There's it's a very thick like very pebbly sort of hide to it. Not
almost
so
like
much
a scale, almost like scale mail, not scale mail, but a hide armor and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so and his has these like bone like ridges stitched into the actual thing there.
Started
So-
Scales.
Yeah. No, it was so the hide has it there, and he has like the actual like chunks of bone that are slotted into kind of pulled in there. So he actually says
Okay.
sort of like almost like a hide armor with bone. Is what it looks like there.
It is very strong. It is a matter of curing it the proper
flexibility.
way.
Very good. And as he pulls this up, you can see it does have good flexibility, but it's a good inch thick. I mean, it is a very inch, almost like an inch thick there.
Very protective, but a lot of it has a lot of strong absorption. It distributes the impact.
Impact.
Yes, along it.
Which actually goes along with the fact that it actually is resistant to force damage. Not the armor he has, but the actual creature itself
Yeah.
there in its full size. But yeah,
It is a very protective, very good. And if you can find the right people, they can definitely enchant the armor as well. There are some mystics. There are some mystics among the various tribes there that can do such things to increase the protective qualities.
Okay.
Anything else anyone's doing, specifically calling out specific people? Oh, lost Bernie there.
I'm just
I've been
like
picking
walking
on her.
around
She doesn't
looking.
wanna play no
I've never been in a village like this, so I'm just like walking around, like drawing up, like what the village looks like. You know, just
Sure.
like taking notes of
It-
like
What's
of
weird
the
is it,
society itself.
I
Yeah.
advise him to do it. Just do me a favor. Don't talk.
what you find what's really weird for you, Eldon, is that there's no real good organization to like there's not like a town center, there's not a districting type of thing like that. There's no organization because it literally is wherever the trees grew, wherever these clumps of trees grew, that's where they built. And so it's this long sort of meandering, very organic looking village or town essentially. You realize there's probably about a few hundred people that live here, scattered along almost a half mile of lakeshore. And as the party progresses there, some other slabs will be set up there, some other cooking fires will be set up there, and more people will keep arriving until there's probably a good 100 people, mostly lizard folk there, a scattering of probably about out of 100 people, maybe 8 or 9 of them kobolds, and of course then the dragonkin that are here. These two and the kids are the only dragonkin that are here. So yeah, nobody stops you. Nobody. I mean, people sort of like give you odd looks because you're a strange-looking little guy, but nobody sort of like gives you any problems or any hassles. Word quickly spread that you helped the hunting parties and helped take down the pterosaur.
Cheers.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to anyone. I would just
Okay.
be taking notes.
Yep.
Why are you not talking to anyone?
Everyone is so tall. Eldon feels awkward.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, the
You got
kobolds
flying
aren't.
boots. You can fly high.
Alden, why don't you take my carpet and have a go on it?
I'm gonna kill you.
The kobolds are actually your height. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. So among them, and what you'll find actually, at least among them, they actually do have the least primitive looking gear for the most part. As I said, Kess has actual throwing knives and leather armor. You're not sure what kind of leather it is exactly, but it's definitely of a cut and style more akin to what you would see in cities and such.
What is what? How are kobolds viewed?
So you kind of
Coppervale?
so you don't really see them much in Coppervale. Effectively, you know that what you would know historically, kobolds are native to these mountains here. They were actually here when the Dragonkin arrived 1,200 years ago. Like they were the natives here, so there really weren't a lot of mixing between kobolds and dwarves. What few you would have seen, they were just sort of typical people for the most part.
Studious, just
And you probably wouldn't see too many on the surface. They don't. They live mostly underground in the mountains. So academically, you wouldn't have met very many if very many at the surface at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just
In terms of how they're viewed, they seem to be somewhat. I mean, what you've heard stories of they seem to be a little bit skittish and subservient a bit. Is how they're always kind of like pictured or described.
I would be making new notes that they actually have a society of their own, like well crafters, like good at crafting. Like
Yeah. In fact, you can see a lot of the ones. They are actually some of the leather workers. At least one of them is actually working leather, bringing over to what appears to be a workshop-ish area where they tan hides and such. You'll see some of like stretched among the huts there, and actually underneath them, stretched, there'll be hides they're curing and such. And so you'll spot that off the distance a little bit.
very, very cool. Yeah, I just would, just pay attention and
Okay.
learn.
So, Sora.
Mm-hmm.
You will find whenever you're ready, essentially, she does not pull you aside there, but she basically kind of indicates that when you want to talk, she will talk with you. And she does not drag you off anywhere or demand that you speak with her or anything else. So when you decide to go and talk to her, at that point, you will see that Grazos will go ahead and take the kids with him, and they're kind of like, let's go. We must get some food and drink. And so he grabs them and come on, let's go. And Trikar just sort of like stomps his feet and grumbles about not being there, but it seems to be food. Yeah, food. All right. And he was running off there to get food.
Yeah. Okay. Not that this is awkward or anything, but
Go give your mother a hug.
Yeah. She will not force it on you or anything like that, but she's sort of like she does stand when you approach, and you see there actually is a fairly decent sized looking hut like structure there with that there's multiple rooms inside set up there.
Um, uh, she's well, this isn't where this isn't our only home exactly. We have multiple base camps around the region. This is just where we spend probably most of our time. Um, Grazis grew up here. This is the Black Claw clan, and this is where he calls home. And well, where I've come to call home as well.
Okay.
I can't. I can't. You are so much like me, but you are also so attached to your grandmother. I couldn't be around her anymore. I couldn't be around the place where my children were killed. And I knew you would be okay. You had support, you had family, you had friends, you had everything you needed. I couldn't be there any longer. I had to find out why. I had to find out what kind of monster would be inspired to go and do this thing.
And did you?
Yes, I've learned a lot.
And
Well, and she speaks a bit of the courtly Oris, the um, the bounties were placed on our people's heads by Drakal. At first, they only banished us. Then, as whatever madness took them, they began to kill us. And then, when the hatchlings were born, and something can happen. Obviously, she kind of like she kind of like waves to what appears to be like two smaller beds off in a room. It doesn't really have a door; it's just sort of an open space there.
Mhm.
Saldia came from an egg that should have been blue, like me, but there she is. It happens among the metallics as well. And when those children are born, they're put to death. The someone takes them away. When I learned of that, I knew I had to be here to stop that. I made connections with those who were sympathetic with Indrakal themselves, and worked to smuggle out the children before they could be killed. Take them to places where people would care for them, would raise them and not harm them.
Well, yeah, that all makes sense. And, I'm happy that you're doing it. And you found somebody who makes you happy. And I have new siblings, yay. But I don't know why. Like, also don't know who father is. I don't know where to go from here. How much has Strega told you about me recently?
I I know that you've been adventuring and finding growing into power. And she kind of actually kind of pointedly points to the hammer on your hip, growing into power of your own. Um, I know that. I know that you are a warrior. I have not. I don't know a lot about your personal life or anything like that, other than I obviously have friends and very strange and powerful ones. Obviously, but I don't know a lot about your life. it is difficult to send messages. And Strega, as far as I know, only it wasn't a part of your life either. And I've had no contact with your grandmother.
Yeah, yeah, I understand the no combat with grandma. With yeah, yeah, she's a little tight. So because he hasn't told you now, I'm gonna fill her in on the dream that I had. I have to sit up now.
Okay.
The dream I had.
Okay.
Um, then tell her about Storlux.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And then tell her about the brief communications I've been having with Bahamut. That'll be the last part.
Wow.
Because I put
Okay.
I put it in
Um,
the order of seriousness here.
sure. Yeah, exactly. So obviously, progressively more concerned, I would say.
Hmm.
Uh, she,
That's a statement.
yeah.
I mean, yeah,
She,
she's getting my life dump in the span of what, half an hour, 45 minutes.
yeah, probably.
So,
So yeah, the dream is something that she con- confused over. She was never one to be. She was not an intellectual. She was not a.
No.
She was a warrior type. Um, and so she doesn't really understand the importance of that specifically, other than it's definitely concerning.
Mhm.
Strolix,
I originally thought it meant that that you or that Tiamat and Bahamut were coming back to the plains, and then I heard that you had children, and I thought that meant, this is me thinking, Sora thinking, that meant the two of them were meant to be the next Bahamut and Tiamat. I don't know how that whole thing works.
I don't. I certainly hope not. I would not expect that of Saltia at all. But I have heard of. I don't know much about the ancient gods. Just. I. I can honestly say we watch her, and she's a very intellectual and very studious child, very much observer, and um, there is no trace of darkness in her, from what I can tell. Other than, of course, her color of her scales. Um,
And a name.
well, yes.
um, she then, while she's, we will, of course, watch over her and guide her and care for her, and whatever can be done to keep her safe, we will. But you and this, and she pauses. That family. Well, I know they are reasonable and for their kind, very open-minded. I find it strange that you would form an attachment with. No, it is not strange. No, only under the current circumstances. But did you tell her about the fact that he's gone?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay. I think that's going to be the child you're recovering came from there. If his family is there and they are an important family, they will be there as well. I mean, not. I mean, the child, the white, it came from one of the silver hatchings. It's not uncommon for it to happen since they are both the same affinity, elemental speaking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I hope that this will be fine.
Didn't mean to roll that. Uh,
It's okay, no worries. Um, I she's she seems concerned. But then speaking of Bahamut, I that is interesting. You've heard his voice.
yeah, a couple times, and then growls and low growls, like deep within inside of me, I can feel the rumbles, and I know it's not gas. I don't eat that type of stuff.
That was more your brother sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Trikar is so much similar to him. Um, ah,
He's married
well,
too. Yeah.
I he told me.
Hmm.
I am glad he's found someone to maybe curb his temper a bit.
He is doing
Hopefully,
that. Hmm. Hmm.
it's good. He it was He was dangerous to lose. He may have been lost if he hadn't found someone to bring him back from the brink. But have you? You may wish to speak
Okay.
with Bahamut if you are where we are, where you're going. There can definitely be a matter of interest there for him. I can only imagine what you might hear from him.
So you mean
I
when we go there, you want me to commune with him on purpose?
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Because lately it's just been talking. Yeah, sure.
I mean, if he speaks to you and you follow him and you are going where you're going, then perhaps this would be the best time to talk to him.
Okay. Yeah. Um.
I hope that you are walking a very unique path, one I could not imagine. You are moving among two worlds, almost more than that. Oh, I lost my camera.
Oh, he
So,
just turned his camera off.
gotcha. So I hope that you find a place to make your own, place to a people to make your own, and if it's this rocks, then these friends and Raven's crest it is, I hear. Then I hope the best.
Do you not ever plan on coming back? Is this something you plan on staying out here for?
This has become my home, but I may arrange time to visit. But I will, as long as there are children being killed, I will be here to help them.
Wow. Maybe, possibly, we could stop that from happening.
I would like nothing more than that. But that is a. I don't know what is the cause or where these ideas come from or why this is considered acceptable. There may be a corruption that it is deep seated. But I can only hope that someone can find a way.
Hmm. That might just be us. Under my breath, I'll be saying that, or in
Sure,
my head
yeah.
to the rest of the group. Yep.
How much of the rest of the group is the rest of the group hearing of this?
I'm like probably just
Well, telepathic
now.
bond. I mean, you're not. This is they're actually in.
They're in
Yeah.
various places, but telepathic bond.
You can choose to.
Yes,
or no.
there are bits and pieces of it that I probably would have skipped the whole life story because they've been through most of it. Um, the
Except the middle part that they don't know anything about.
well, one of them does.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah. At this point, they would know who Storlock is. They will know her responses to the questions I was asking. Yeah, so almost everything except the stuff they already knew. So yeah.
I'm like still out exploring.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's no yeah, there's no range limit, so you're getting bits and pieces of this over the course of an hour.
hmm
Okay. Okay. So while this is happening, getting little bits and pieces there. What are the rest of you guys doing here? Eldon's going around taking notes and checking things out. Lucas, Amethyst, Grimbar.
I just keep saying to Sora, you're gonna have to hug her. You should hug your mother. You definitely should. If you go away from here and you haven't hugged her, you're gonna regret it. It's not the time to be mad at her. She's doing good stuff here.
How about Lucas? What are you up to?
I'd just be sitting around eating the food.
Yep.
Drinking the drink.
It is excellent. Probably never eaten dinosaur meat before. Definitely not tropical. Whatever the seasons and spices, the spices and whatever they're using there is amazing. Yeah, it's definitely something that the rest of the crew is around too at this point because they're actually at this point now among they're eating and drinking and all sampling their stuff there. Yeah.
And yes, Jim, as our conversation wrapped up, I would have given her a hug.
Yeah, she would definitely return it. It's one of those things of it would be a very long hug. I mean, just
Yeah.
No.
one that obviously long overdue, but there's definitely this a bit of relief from her as well, kind of sigh of relief a little bit that she wasn't sure if it'd be okay or not, and so she definitely accepts
Originally
it
it
and
wouldn't have
returns it. Oh, I know. At some point there,
And she got off light. Striga got so much worse than what he got.
oh yeah, no kidding. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the food is excellent. There's definitely a celebratory atmosphere among the whole group there. They're definitely they'll actually pull out. I mean, it's full on Ewok style here. We're talking about like hollowed out bone flutes and these weird stretched out, such high drums and very much like Islander style of music and everything else as they start making and people kind of dancing around and this odd sort of shuffling, spinning dances they like to do there where they drag their tails in the dirt and make designs. The kids sort of there are a number of lizard folk kids running around. These little like balls of scales that tend to roll around and throw things at each other and play in the water and splash and everything else. There's just I mean, throughout the evening as it gets dark, the fires continue, the meat continues there, and the party will go on. Anything else anyone wants to do specifically?
Eventually, I would find Audrey and
Oh yeah.
and have dinner with her.
Yeah, but when you finally sit down, it's like about time. Hands you a mug, and a wooden like platter, a wooden plate full of like food, all the assortment of stuff there. You need to eat.
I was going to ask if the crew can actually come and party.
Yeah,
with us.
the crew is definitely there. Yeah, so the crew
Yeah.
is definitely among there and all being treated as well. Yeah.
I would just talk about all the fun things we learned. And,
Yeah. She takes it all in there and definitely at some point she kind of like nudges you, like kind of like nudges her with her shoulder.
I will start eating.
Good.
I want to find my brother real quick. The
Okay, yeah,
littlest brother.
car. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Your little brother?
Not
little
hard to find him.
brother.
He's very loud, and in any time you see the little sparks of lightning in the dark as he's like gnashing his teeth and jumping around and making noise. You actually will find him with one of the little drumming circle there. He's just bashing away on this drum as hard as he can. There, not in rhythm, not.
No. Little man, I'll pull out my horn. This is what you're supposed to use, and give it to him. A horn in my pocket that I'm giving to him.
He sort of like blows into it and just like just weird sounds coming out of it there. Like, but then he'll start to get the hang of it. Like, and just start figuring it out little by little.
Also, one day, I'm not going to need this. I'm going to point to my hammer to Cloud Strike. One day, I'm not going to need this. And it's going to have to get moved on to the next family member. And once you can hit your targets, and I no longer need it, it'll be yours. And I'll show him Cloud Strike.
Like, it's the head of the head as big as his head. And he's like, oh, he kind of reaches out and just kind of touches it. Traces little lightning bolt designs on it, and like, wow.
So it should go to the next family member.
That's me, right?
Well, for right now,
Good. Well, you got to be the one to give it to me then.
Of course. Who else
Yeah.
is going to give it to you? It's not Mom's anymore.
True. It was Mom's.
Yeah.
She never seen her use a hammer.
Yeah, she looks weird with the sword, doesn't she?
Well, that's all I've ever seen her with. I never seen anything else.
She used to have this. I don't remember her using it, but she used to have this.
Wow. That's pretty. I like it.
It's loud. Mm-hmm.
Can I hold it?
Sure, you can try.
And he like, oh, struggles there, like holding it up there. And he manages to keep it from hitting the ground, but it's just like barely, like, wow. And they kind of like rested on the ground, playing like, you just throw that? Wow. Lifts it up there, like, hands it to you.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll pull out both Sunbeam and Cloud Strike at the same time, holding one in each hand. Oh, this kid is so going to be an adventure by the time I'm done with him.
Oh yeah, he's way he's just like wildly looking at, and kind of starts poking at the elbow cup there for the Mizium, and like,
That's weird looking armor.
I can open it, right?
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna open it.
You're like, you just like back away, like, oh my god.
Do you know that small little guy who's running around taking notes at everything?
Yeah, he's the same size as me.
Yeah, he made it for me.
Wow. You make all the stuff he's carrying around with him too?
Yeah, he makes all the stuff that's on him too.
Wow. That's neat. I like it. Can I have some?
You have to ask him.
Oh, okay.
He goes running off.
Oh no, you're sitting to me.
Yeah, he comes running over like, Mister! Hey, Mister! As you and Audrey are sitting there, and she's like,
hey, you, you.
Yes, young one. Yes.
Can I have that blue stuff? The stuff the Sora's wearing? That cool, the flowy stuff there?
Oh no. I actually don't think that I can give you Mizium as the
Mizium. Okay.
Destructive capabilities could theoretically burn this entire village to the ground. And I don't think
really?
We should go talk to your mother. You should go back to Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't want to burn the village down, but I could do bad things with the big things.
I I don't feel that I could actually craft those for you and not be killed by your mother. Yes.
You'll grow into Sora's one day anyway.
Oh,
When she retires, you'll be big enough.
oh,
Yes.
hope so. Yeah,
Come.
I'm gonna be big as my dad. He's bigger than all you.
Yes. If you come and find me in 20 years, I will in fact craft you wondrous gear. I am actually interesting thing. I am working on what are called runes, and I will in fact.
Ooh.
Eldon is going to start over explaining
At,
because
at that point, Audrey's like, put her hand over your mouth, just like, just shake her head, like,
I would like to know
Cover his
more.
ears.
and yeah, essentially, from behind you, you hear a voice, just like,
I would like to know more.
and see Saldia, who's completely blended into the darkness behind you there with this little black scales there.
I would like to know
you
more.
are so mean, Sora. Okay.
That's what you get. It is what you get.
Yeah, and then, but this, I mean, sort of nearby there too. You just spoke up to him there. It's like he's he's looking up at you like,
Wow. Well, you're pretty, but you're different than everyone else. Well,
I certainly am. I'll say that in his head.
he's like just looking around like,
where'd that come from? Is that? Whoa.
Mhm.
And so just like,
Runes, you say? I would like to know more about runes and other things like that.
I will actually pull out one of those common ones I have, the
Mhm.
healer one, the one that
Mhm.
if you take a healing salve, it increases the amount of healing you receive, and I will give that to her in a little. I have them in little amulets.
Oh, thank you very much.
she's like looking at us, like sitting there, kind of tracing her finger over the rune a little bit, and just kind of like tracing the design on it there, just kind of checking out.
This is very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Also,
like,
as
and she pauses and goes,
This is for healing.
Eldon will like do like a head jerked back thing.
Thank you
How-
very much.
she puts it on and just sort of like holds on to it there.
Yes. Interesting that you knew that.
You can feel it. You can feel
Wow.
it feels like healing.
Wow.
Oh, you went
You
quiet.
knew
on
Eldon
the
that,
side.
would-
Aldi.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang it.
That's it.
So, yes, in fact, if you would take one of the healing salves, it would increase the amount of healing you would receive. It's a
Wow.
very, very nice rune. It is very intriguing that you knew that. I may need to speak with your mother about your education. Yes.
Aldon, leave my sister alone.
She said she could feel it. That means she's really intuitive. That's interesting.
So she's like,
Well, thank you. I would like to know more, but I must go show mother.
and she like kind of like where he stomps and like is all just like do 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 do. She just sort of glides away, just like you didn't even hear her move away. She's like just gone.
Oh.
So
Audrey, I probably remind me tomorrow to speak with her mother. Yes, that one has great potential. Yes.
Think so. Yeah. Sure. I think we'll have a chance to talk to whoever we want to. Whenever you decide to go. But yeah, you didn't finish your food there.
Yes.
You
Yes.
need to eat some more.
Delicious. Yes, of course.
But me.
But meat.
yep, yeah. So as you're kind of all kind of seeing various things going on there, Yeah, now that Trikar isn't there with the drum circle there, it's sounding much better. As he would just sort of like banging away on this thing completely out of tune, out of rhythm and everything else. Um, it's kind of settled into a better groove now, and they're kind of just jamming along. Um, but yeah, the Grim, I can't hear you be talking, so or you muted. Sorry.
Oh,
You
that's why
muted.
nobody
Yeah,
can hear me.
sorry.
I've been sitting here talking to myself.
I just saw your voice. Like, oh, you're talking. Whoops. So go ahead. What
Uh,
were you up to?
One, I kept saying I'm going to I'm going to keep Elney filled up with the fruity lemonade,
Sure.
and
I'll definitely
And then
start
I-
to feel it eventually, and then
The funny thing is
and
that
then I'm going to ask I'm going to ask Lucas to stand up and start singing.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
He's a bard. I'm
And he
going to
plays
sit there and
instruments.
play your instruments and start singing.
Yeah, I'll play my lute.
okay. Definitely a lot of fascination. They don't really have much in the way of stringed instruments here. Probably the closest thing to a stringed instrument they have is going to be if you I'm sure you would know this one, a baron bow. Simply is kind of a large sort of like circular, kind of almost like a gourd-like thing with a long
very
pole
tall, long
and
pole.
a kind of a single long string that as it kind of like pluck the string there, they bend the sword there and just make this sort of like weird bendy sounding
got
thing on there.
strings. Got
Yep.
strings.
Yeah. Bow, 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 bow. And so yeah, Lucas, as it is a similar, at least the only real string instrument they have, but they're definitely interested in the sounds that you're making and the music that you're making there, and so you sort of draw a bit of a crowd watching you. Just a number of different dragon folk and a couple of the younger ones, especially kind of sitting down, some of the youngest ones kind of plunk themselves down there and just sort of watch you play, just kind of fascinated by the sounds coming from you. Grim, at least one point when you're handing off lemonade, the lemonade to Eldon, you'll see Audrey sort of like very very deftly sort of pluck the mug from your hand there and sort of like not quite, and in thieves can't, not quite so fast. Don't want him to pass out. And so yeah, basically yeah, she has a bit of rogue in her.
No, and that's fine. I just want
Yeah.
him to relax and just kind of,
Oh yeah,
yeah, de-stress and
yeah.
go to sleep.
She doesn't disapprove or anything like that. It's just sort of like she at least one point it's like, you're still working on the last one there, and kind of pulls it, kind of takes it aside there and takes it herself and starts drinking some of herself there. Yeah.
It's so fruity he doesn't even realize what's happening.
Oh yeah, and yeah, she definitely does. What you don't even realize is that basically for every drink you take there, she refills it with water, so it gets a little weaker each time there.
I do that.
Yeah.
I do that cat reflex.
Yeah, just enough that you're not like getting quite so
nothing
trashed
against cats.
immediately. Yeah,
Right,
Um,
the hyper lightweight that he is.
No, but behind his back when she does the water, I just kind of go, "Bah," It's like you're ruining
Yeah.
it.
Hey, lemonade, a little extra water to cut it there, a little less
Yeah.
strong. I mean, but yeah. So the evening celebration will definitely come to a close well after dark. Sort of the people will start to eventually settle down. The music will start to slow down a little bit and become a little less raucous, and the dancing will stop eventually. The food starts to not quite run out, but get sort of like divvied up amongst the people that are still there. There's still a whole section for the people that have been playing music there. They'll kind of hand them their kind of plates and drinks and things along with them.
There's no way they could all eat that in one night, right?
No, they wouldn't eat the whole thing. A lot of it's been put away there. They have enough to kind of feed the folks here, and there's more essentially kind of packed away and such. And they'll do more with that there. So they basically put probably a good like 20-30 pounds of meat roughly for 100 people, and there's still a lot left. So they've taken it all off to various places to be stored and cured and whatever else needs to happen. Yeah. Exactly. So You guys are all essentially you're welcome to. They'll kind of set aside places where you can sleep, or you can go out sleep on the ship. Obviously, the captain and the crew plan to go back up on the ship there, um, as far as you're aware. And we'll leave off with Sora.
Yes.
As everyone's settling down for the evening, do you intend to speak with a certain
Yeah.
someone?
Both of them actually, if I could.
Well, I was talking
Um,
about Bahamut.
Yeah, that's the one I
Yeah,
was talking about.
yeah.
But
Okay.
the sending stone to person.
Okay.
We'll
What do you
do
tell them?
Bahamut first, and the other one we can do off screen.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Fine.
Bahamut. Okay. All right. I'm here, and close to the land of dragons.
You near the homeland of your brethren.
Look at her face.
Yes, I am. Who do we need to see about taking care of to stop the whole killing of our peoples?
Their homeland is hidden from my sight. There is a darkness there that I cannot penetrate. Beware the depths.
What depths? Who's in the mountains?
Beneath the mountains.
Oh, I gotta go there.
Whatever
That too.
has caused this corruption lies beneath.
In the mountains, the corruption's beneath. Okay. Anything specific I should do to prepare myself in the party?
There is more than one child. There are many. But only one must be taken away. The rest must stay.
Okay. How will I know the child when I see it? But why? What? Go ahead. Sorry.
As you're kind of clarifying,
The child of white. You must take the rest. Take to one who will care for them as he cares for the one he is charged with.
Why do deities always speak in riddles? Okay. Okay.
That's easy.
I don't got it, but I got it. You still had telepathic bond going, right? Y'all heard this, right?
What are you talking about?
It
I don't
wasn't
think so.
just me. Damn it. Okay.
I mean, yeah, no,
That'll be
you can
cool.
fill them in, but even if it was up there, they wouldn't hear it.
Okay. Yeah. Nope. This was totally me alone. Got it. I would. Okay. Then I don't know that I have any other questions at the moment.
Not even who are you talking about?
I mean, I am assuming because Dee speaking riddles, he would have told me at this point. Also, like, it should be obvious. I'm hoping. Um,
Sure.
do you mean take him to Strega or take him to the guy who's coming with the girl? I don't get it. We'll find out. Who? Yeah.
Take
Okay.
him
Who
to
do you
your
mean?
dad, who's protecting the one he is charged with protecting with, which is your
Oh.
mother.
Not my dad.
So at that point, you kind of hear the low,
Yeah, he went away.
sort of like settles into your bones and stuff like that.
I will come back down from wherever I'm at. If the party is still sitting at the party people's, and they will see me looking very,
I'm
very weird.
So drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
Audrey has taken Eldon off to go sleep.
Uh-huh.
As he is sort of like staggering along there. Probably need some help getting him back on the ship.
And I'm giggling the whole time. I'm thinking that's
Yep.
funny.
Yep.
You know, Grimbar, 5 points of lay on hands, and that whole thing goes away. He'll be back to Eldon. Because
Why would you do that?
because something
He needs to
serious
relax.
just happened.
Well, tell him in the morning.
And
He
if
needs to
Audrey doesn't
relax.
get some soon, she might slip and kill you.
We're all gonna go to bed
Um,
here soon anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. The party has wound down for the most part. There, most people are heading off back to their huts and their homes and such. You will find that yes, your siblings have been put to bed. They are wound up. But yeah, effectively, you kind of see at one point Gravis hurting his Tricar, who's still sort of like, I want to play, I want to play, and he's like just kind of like delirious with how tired he is at this point, sort of like stumbling along, like, come on.
That's literally my life, by the way.
I know right where you're at there, man. The kids so tired they can't even like walk in a straight line, but they still want to be up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of that motion of like, and
They're so
like,
tired they don't want to sleep, and yet at the same time
Yep.
their eyes are closed as they're talking. Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
they're still talking. Yes.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so
You
they,
saw us take Kayla to bed at midnight, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So so the party will wind down there at some point. As you guys kind of each move off their way, you will spot who's probably Lucas, Amethyst, Grimbar. The three of you are sort of like still around there. Sora, you're kind of coming down off the high that you were on, and a bit mind blown. The three of you, however, will spot kind of sitting by the fire. The last coals of the fire there is Kest, the kobold there, the dark scaled kobold, who's just sort of sitting there staring into the fire. And at whichever one of you makes eye contact with him, he'll just sort of look up and,
Well, back in the tunnels we go, I guess.
Yes.
That's the one he's afraid of.
There's a
Interesting.
lot. I'll fill you in all in the morning. But there's some bad things down there. There's a reason I left. It doesn't have to do with my strange heritage. It's something dark. I'll tell you more when we get closer. And I got you all with me.
Well, we're -1. He's a little preoccupied with sleeping at the moment.
Yeah, good. You should all get some sleep. I'll probably sleep a bit on the trip there, but I'm more of a night owl.
and he's sort of like this large dark eyes, and you notice his eyes don't really reflect the light. Sort of this flat black. You don't see any pupil. There's sort of this flat black color at nighttime like this, and he just sort of stares at the coals, looking a bit nervous.
Nervous.
Mm.
Yeah.
Be a cleric with calm emotions right now. To be a cleric with calm emotions right now.
He doesn't seem upset. He just seems like he's just sort of like,
Resolving himself.
yeah. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like when you have to do something you don't want to do, but you have to do it anyway. It's kind of the impression you guys get.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys find your places to sleep, as the last of the stragglers head off to their homes to sleep, and the coals are covered over, and the uh, last of the food is put away. We're gonna go ahead and call it there, and uh, we will see where things take us down in the depths below Drakal next week. So with that, thanks again. Thank you all for being here, of course, and thank you all for watching out there. Those of you who are now and in the future, as always, if you're looking for games, come on, Tumble Tankard here. Links in the description below to join in, and we hope you can come and hang out with us. And you guys, if you have questions and things you need to clarify for next week, there, let me know. We'll definitely throw some more information. I know Sora's got something to discuss a bit. But with that, though, we were going to we're going to take off for the day. So thank you for being here. As always, thanks for hanging out at the tavern. Drinks are on us again, and we'll see you again real soon. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.